Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. We've got Kathleen, we've got Tilly, or is it Lily? I can never get that right, can I? She's going to clip my ear if I'm not careful. So welcome to this evening's little session. This is a live stream where we're going to be drawing the answers, the results to the hashtag I Love Art competition. We had a fantastic day. What day was it? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Is it Thursday or Friday today? So Wednesday we did a competition which was day 13 of the fantastic challenge of the January challenge, which is organised by the incredible bunch of people called 64 Million Artists. And basically they issue a challenge, a creative challenge, every single day of January, and people get involved. And we set one on Wednesday. We actually we entered it back in November, and I missed an email in December, so when you heard on Tuesday we were doing it. And the idea was to design an I Love Art logo like this, or anything you want. And we were overwhelmed. We had 220 responses. It was quite incredible. 220 responses to that. So what we're going to be doing this evening, about an hour in total. In the first half an hour, we're going to have a little chat, and we've got some people coming into our chat room who were here yesterday. And we're also going to look at some of the work. But today's challenge was really, really exciting for us particularly, because today's challenge was all about festivals, my goodness. And we love a festival at Steamco. I mean, we started, well, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but we basically started Steamco by going to a festival and thinking, wow, we want some of this in our kids' school. And just want to check all my audio levels are all okay, because it looks, is that a little bit loud? Any comments? If anybody's here, if you're in YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, type a message in the system and it will come up. Now, I don't know if I've got a type one to start with, so let me pop a message in here. Let's just say, is anyone there? Got a few people by the look of it. So I'm going to pop that message in there. Now that will go into Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, that's gone there. I can now click on that and bring it up on the screen like that. So I can bring it up and there's the message. So any message you type can go up on the screen. So if you want to push shout out, if you want to have a comment, then we can do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. I can get these little messages off the screen here, so you won't be seeing those if you're in our studio audience, because that's like being in a studio audience. So what we're going to do first of all, I want to talk very quickly about festivals and get some ideas. We've got some people coming into our studio audience. We're going to ask them what their dream festival would be like. I don't know if they got involved in that challenge. Let me just see if I can get these lovely people up on the screen here. So if I press that button there, and that gets rid of me, that puts me up there. Okay, well, that's not such a problem. Who have we got in the studio in there today? We've got Tilly. Hello, Tilly, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hello.
You can hear me all right,
well,
can you?
Thank you.
Now, I've got to press a button here. I can get you up on speaker view. So whenever you speak, it'll automatically go to... Oh, hang on. You've coloured it in since last night, by the look of it, have you?
Oh, no, I did two.
Is it you that did the fart one, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, if I'd have known that, I don't know if I'd have had you on. Blimey, you cheeky devil. You are, aren't you? What are you like?
Should I take it down?
No, of course not. Of course they won't. If anybody's offended, it'll come to the wrong place. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Don't you worry. So, did you do the festival one today, Tilly?
I haven't yet because I've been at work and come straight from work to here, but I've done it in my head.
That old excuse there. You
drawn out.
You let work get in the way, did you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now, was it you that was in children's services? I can't remember. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
That's right. So, so are you actually working away from the home at the moment when you do that? Or?
No, I'm working remotely from my office is the dining room.
Oh, okay. So it's not so bad.
Too long a journey.
So your commute's about 20 seconds, is it, in total?
Something like that, yeah.
And who else have we got here? Kathleen, is that you there, Kathleen? Can I see?
Yes, so I just went to get my my thing, and it's sort of.
I was going to say.
I made a heart.
A bit's dropped off there, hasn't it? Hang on a second. Let me get you up full screen. Let me get you up full screen with that. Pull that up again, Kathleen. That was a lovely one, wasn't it? Actually, I really like that one. It was nice. What's that made out of? Is that something you made special, or something you had kicking around that sort of worked well for it?
No, I didn't make it specially, but I made it recently.
Oh, you did make it? Oh, lovely.
Oh yeah, it's a polystyrene heart with lots of tiny beads. But on my photo that I sent in, I had some scattered beads off of this. It's lots of little tiny beads. I
That's
needed
lovely.
to use a
Blimey.
little rubber to push them in because I've got sore fingers. But it did take quite a while. But
I bet it did.
I love doing it. So.
Almost a little bit therapeutic, that, isn't it? Sticking those little beads in there.
Yeah, sticking pins in something.
Fantastic. Okay, and have you had a think about this festival challenge at all, Kathleen?
I have had to think. I'm not really a festival door person, but I mean, when I was younger, I used to like going to open air concerts. So I suppose it's the same kind of thing.
Well, what is it? What is a festival? What thoughts does a festival bring into your mind? What thoughts does a festival? What does it? What
In the
thoughts?
West Midlands, in the West Midlands, it's usually lots of people going to Weston Park wearing wellies, and it pours with rain. So
Is that Staffordshire?
yeah,
Because they do
I'm
have a
in
big
Stafford.
festival there every year, don't they?
they have one near Stafford, yeah, in Weston. But I mean, in the past, like years ago, I think the last concert I went to was Bob Marley, not long before he died, at Crystal Palace Bowl.
Oh, blimey, that's a memory.
And you know, it was just groups of friends. We bought lots of food, just chilled on the grass, had lots of fun. And I think, yeah, I'd be up for a picnic in a park with friends, and if there was music, that would be great.
It's interesting because the word festival is quite loaded, isn't it? A lot of people think the mosh pits and Glastonbury and lots of shouting and screaming and people being thrown around by security, mud, expensive beer. But I'm from a little place in Shropshire called Ludlow, which you may have heard of, and they have a food festival every year.
Yeah.
And they have a sausage trail, and they have art and they have music and they have all sorts of things. I used to be a butcher's boy in Ludlow. That's one of my claims to fame. So the thought of a sausage trail I find quite ironic, actually, because we could barely give our sausages away. Now they're the source of an art festival. I've got Malumba here, actually. I might just get Malumba up on the screen when he's got a bit of a mouthful at the moment. I might just pull him up. Malumba, are you with us tonight? Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. What are your thoughts about a festival? What does a festival mean to you?
It's definitely congregations. It's definitely getting together with people who have some common interest. Whatever that common interest may be, whether it's music, food, whether it's looking at cars, whether it's looking at plants, talking about plants, or whether it's just staring out at the sea or something like that. It's just really about getting together. A festival is exactly the opposite of what we are right now, of isolation.
Fair enough. Can you come out of Zoom, do you think? 'Cause I think we're getting a bit of feedback between your Zoom. I just had to mute you there on Zoom. If you could drop out of Zoom, that would be good.
If I've muted myself on Zoom.
No, just come out of Zoom. You don't need to be in there, I don't think, unless you want to monitor the conversation. That's fine. You can mute yourself on Zoom. That will do the same thing. So we've got Kathleen and Tilly.
I was quite interested in Kathleen's story about Bob Marley's concert right before he died. Can you tell us a bit more about that? That sounded so interesting.
Yeah, go for it. Kathleen, tell us about your Bob Marley moment.
Gosh, I think it must have been the late 70s, early 80s. And I went with a group of friends to Crystal Palace Bowl. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I haven't, no.
At the bowl there's a lake. I'm sorry, Malumba.
That's okay. I think that's Malumba. Don't worry. We didn't talk to you. It's just a bit of interference. Don't worry. Let's carry on.
Anyway, there's a stage. In front of the stage is the lake, and around the stage is like a grassy area, but it's bowl shaped. So
actually, whoever's on admin, can you just mute your microphone, do you think? Somebody's in on admin and their microphone seems to be interfering. Have I got the power to mute them?
And hello everyone, this is a slightly bizarre experience. Sat here in my living room, but
okay, we've got a bit of interference here, so if I can get them to mute their microphone.
Yeah, I'm Jemima Frankel. I'm the communities manager at 64 Million Artists. 64 is a non-profit.
How do I do that?
Everyone is creative, so the name.
Sorry about this, Kathleen. Just wait 1 second. I don't know how to.
oh, it's okay, don't worry.
I can't see a button that mutes them. Hang on. Participants, no.
That listening state are created.
What they're doing, they're listening to what we did last night. I can't see where to turn them off, actually.
Lots and lots of partnership work, so we'll work with various and work with facilities.
Let's have a look. So if I go into participants, can I boot them out? Well, I can mute them there. There we go. That's muted them. That's sorted them out, didn't it? There we go. I don't know if they can unmute themselves again, but we'll soon find out. I must admit, we haven't been using Zoom in this system up till now. So, Kathleen, can you start talking again? That will bring you up, I think.
Well, I'm here. I don't know if it came through. I was describing the area that the Bob Marley concert was.
That's
at.
right. You were just doing that, weren't you? Carry on with that again. That sounded really interesting. It was Crystal Palace, you said, wasn't it?
So, and it's in Crystal Palace Park, and the area of the park is known as Crystal Palace Bowl because there's a stage with a lake in front, and then a big grassy area surrounding the lake, which is a bowl-shaped area. So you're like sort of sitting in a teacup, the shape of it, and it means that people can relax and be on this slope that is almost a full circle around the stage. And yeah, we had just the whole concert whole afternoon with Bob Marley and his backing singers, and
Wow, what a memory.
it was one.
That sounds
picnics,
fantastic.
sat in the sun, and some danced if you wanted to dance. It was all very chilled. Fabulous atmosphere.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Do you remember, were you around last night? You were here last night when I was talking about a thing called the Festival 22, weren't you?
Yes, I was interested in that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
Lots of money.
A big one. There's a very big budget for it. But it's funny actually because it's interesting. Whenever you mention a lot of money being spent in the context of anything by the government, people instantly think, well, how many hospitals that could build or whatever. And in the general scheme of things, we've got to think about money being spent on a whole range of areas. So a lot of people think 120 million pounds on art and culture and festivals. Well, what a waste of money. But, I think the context, there was talk, remember that number that was bandied around on the Brexit conversation, the 350 million pounds a day, and you realise how much money there is in the system because the economy is very big. So you could say that what is a third of that sort of daily amount of money for something that has impact across a whole year and affects lots and lots of people? And the team that ran that festival, or running it, they went out at the end of last year to look for 10 organisations to each run a tenth of the festival. And they gave them some money to develop ideas. And their brief was they had to come up with ideas that could connect with 66 million people. Well, let's say 64 million people over the year. Every one of those 10 projects. So that's 6.4 billion people had to have been connected with by that Festival 22. So suddenly it's not bad value, is it, for 120 million pounds, if they do it?
I don't think we should. People devalue the arts, so they undermine the arts, and I think that I don't think the argument that it should be spent elsewhere should be a distraction. I think the money's well deserved in the arts, and in particular when there's evidence that, as several people were talking last night, that how beneficial it is for mental health. And at the moment, how they're talking about the long-term impact of COVID on mental health. It's really vital that more money is spent on the arts, in my opinion.
Well, and you could argue it can save money in other areas, in terms of the prescriptions a lot of people have for their well-being or for their nerves or their mental state, as well as other therapies. So there's a lot to be said for it. And as I mentioned last night, I know Matt Hancock, when he was the culture minister, was very passionate about the power of art and creativity and culture and events like this. And interesting, obviously now he's health minister, he's got a bit on his plate at the moment, but I know that a thing called social prescribing is very important. Can I just play you a quick 2-minute video that we made last year? Because believe it or not, I'm just a dad who started this project in my son's school. And 2 years ago, I was invited to Coventry to a talk that the then culture minister was doing, a chap called Jeremy Wright, and he did a talk and he wanted to launch this festival. Is it okay if I just show you this little film for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Let me just get that up, and then we'll sort of have a chat about what you think about that. And what I'd like to do with Tilly and yourself and anybody else who joins is maybe brainstorm a few ideas. I know Malumba's got lots of ideas. We can maybe do. I've got some post-it notes here, and a pen that's not green, and I've got a bit of board, and I'll stick it up on the wall, and we'll maybe chuck some ideas down. We could start creating, or the phrase is co-creating. If we start creating together what a festival could look like, we could even have that festival next year as our Festival 22. So let me just jump to this little video for a second, and we'll play that, and then we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. So why is that not going? Let me have a look. Here we go. I know why. Okay. No, I don't. No, it's going to work. Here we go.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we can.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
An event like this is absolutely overdue for people from working class families where we've never had access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect friends through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing, inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spending enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that, and I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Again, boys will be boys, better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls, cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strain. I think I want to live that sporting life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big stream to come here and celebrate. And I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'd never do it.
One time for the Lord.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.
I appreciate that was a fairly random collection of images and may not make an awful lot of sense. But basically, let me just sort of rewind what actually happened there. and if you're not supposed to laugh uncontrollably, Kathleen. Is Tilly still there? What's Tilly got to say about that? Have you got the giggles as well, Tilly? I don't even know if Tilly's still there. Let me have a look.
Yes, I'm still here.
You're still here, are you? Brilliant. Okay. So you haven't got the giggles, then you're taking me a bit more seriously, hopefully, than Kathleen. Anyway.
I think I was busy. I'm on my Friday prosecco.
Well, good for you. Don't you worry. I should be on my Friday can of cooking lager, but the day ran away with me. So say something, Kathleen. That will pull you back up on the screen. That will save me having to click a button. So basically, what happened there was the Culture Minister invited me up to Coventry and announced a national festival of creativity that I've told you, #Festival UK 2022, they've since called it. And he said, what we need is lots of organisations to come together and run events to demonstrate the value of art and connectivity and creativity. And I got very excited about this. So I ran away and I announced #ArtConnects19. And all that year we had a conference that we'd started planning. So I ran a conference at the end of January. This is only 2 weeks after he did the announcement. We did a conference for a weekend in London. We then did some events in Liverpool with some schools and communities up there. We had a party, we did all sorts of stuff. And then I thought this was such great fun. We're going to call it Art Connects 19 Years. So we did a whole year of this. And as you saw there, I've got a little trailer with everything you need in it to run a creativity festival in a school or a pop-up one on a village green or at a fete. And I just drove around the country all year. So I went to in Cornwall, and they just happened to have a carnival down there. You saw there's a farmer, the chap there with a tractor, and he let me put some signs on his tractor, and he drove down to the carnival in Bude it was. I don't know if you know Bude in North Cornwall. I live near Notting Hill Carnival, so we did a couple of little pop-up events there. We did a whole week in Liverpool. We went to Leeds. And the interest in this was great, because what we found was that a lot of communities are really keen to work with children in schools if they can. They're keen to run events, and they're keen to just inspire children half the time to get them off the computers, if nothing else, to get them making and doing the sort of things that you guys did. And then at the end of the year, we were in a school in Toxteth, funnily enough, in our week in Liverpool, and we had a video link with Nile Rodgers. I don't know if you know him. He was the chap at the end. Do you know Nile Rodgers, Kathleen, by any chance? Yeah, so he's an incredible musician, because he's done stuff with Duran Duran and Madonna and David Bowie and Sister Sledge and Chic. And we said, well, Steam Co is the organisation, the non-profit thing that we run. And we said that a lot of people think the Co stands for company, and it doesn't actually. It stands for collaboration. Obviously, people working together. You didn't know that? No, it's funny, because it looks like Steam Co as in an Eisenbart Kingdom Brunel spin-off, doesn't it? And so we're actually registered at Companies House as Steam Collaboration CIC, Community Interest Company. And what we want to do is we want to be the glue, if you like, or the crazy in the middle. It kind of gets people doing things, because a lot of people are up for doing stuff. They just need a little bit of a nudge. I don't know if you'd agree. Yes. And in a way, that's what the January Challenge is all about. A lot of people could go and do those projects. You could have put all those things in your little heart. You could have done those drawings. But we sometimes need a nudge or a framework. And what's lovely about the January Challenge is there are other people doing the same thing. So for that day, you've got something in common, and you can share your thoughts. But more importantly, your interpretation of it, I suppose. So Nile Rodgers said back to me, he said, well, actually, that's interesting, because for me, collaboration is everything. He says, when I write a song, okay, yes, he can play the guitar, and he can sort of sing, but Nile Rodgers doesn't play the drums, he doesn't play the bass, he doesn't play the keyboards, he doesn't do the harmonies. He writes for an orchestra, he writes for a band, and it only comes together when that whole orchestra or that whole group of people collaborate. So because we're making it up as we go along, and it was getting a bit late in the year, we thought, okay, well, hashtag Collaborate 20, that would be great for 2020. So we set out last year to collaborate with loads of organisations, but the problem with that was that COVID hit and blah, 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 which we got wiped out a bit quickly. But fortunately, we got the grant to build this. We collaborated with lots of organisations and communities in this way. And in this year's hashtag Inspire Our Nation 21, and next year is going to be Festival 22. So back in the summer, we did a Glastonbury event where we literally built the Glastonbury Pyramid Stage from cardboard in a school playing fields down in Somerset. We did. It's funny actually. So we talk. I lose my track. Doesn't matter. We did a Project at Eden project. But the most exciting thing we did last summer was a project that I know is very, very close to Malumba's heart. And we'll show you the film, and then, well, actually, Malumba, why don't you come on now, actually, just a second. We'll get Malumba on again. Let me just press this button here. Don't want to get him too on the spot. Malumba, tell everybody about Art Camp and what you did in that field at the front there. 2 weeks after lockdown, we got a licence to run a festival called Art Camp. Malumba, tell everybody about that. About what?
Access to an enormous meadow, really huge, up in Honiton in Devon, and basically.
Do you want to look at the camera? We're over this way. Look over this way, Melinda.
Art gallery.
Look over to the camera. We can just see your hand at the moment. Can you hear me? Yep. That's it. That's it. Talk to us. Just tell us what you did in that big field. So we had a big field in a place in Devon. What did you get up to in that front?
Big field, a big meadow in Devon. We put a shout out for people to bring in to send submit whatever was their art, and we basically set up an outdoor gallery, a massive art trail where you know.
So, I think your internet's a bit croaky tonight.
It was a bit unfortunate because at that time, and people were quite afraid to come out, so we didn't get quite the audience that we wanted. Sort of walking a lovely outdoor art gallery, which brings me to the idea of this collaboration that you're talking about, Nick. We've suddenly done this I Love Art collaboration, and there's been some incredible entries. I mean, your I Find article is possibly one of my favorites because, I mean, what it says is I ooze art. So what I'm thinking is that the next time we do this art trail, and we do another outdoor exhibition, would be to actually feature, if we can turn all these entries into giant posters. Imagine how lovely that would look in a big Devonian map.
Well, in a way, that's what we've been doing, isn't it? Let me just cut to the video, Malumba. I'm just going to mute you for a second because you've jumped ahead just a second. But don't worry, I'm going to come back to you and Tilly and Kathleen and anybody else who's joining. We've had a lovely little comment actually from somebody here. Let me get this comment up. We've had a lovely message here from Leah Roswell. Now, what did Leah say? Leah says, I'm in the process of putting on a family-friendly music festival called Rainbow Connections. That sounds fantastic. So we're going to look out for that. Now, I did ask Leah, actually, I popped a message in and said, could you email your turn at steamco.org.uk, and hopefully she's going to email you, and you could send her the link to the Zoom. We'll get her in the studio audience, because after this video, I'd like to get my post-it notes out and just bounce a few ideas around, because I want everybody in our studio audience tonight to have the chance to help us co-create Festival 2022. So we've got a few people here now. We've got a couple more people. We've got somebody called Admin's popped up with a SWAT hat on and an orange mask. I don't know if we dare put them up, actually. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to play this video first, and then we'll come back to our studio audience.
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
It's Beth from the beach house.
Oh, it's Beth from Cornwall. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought I'd dress up just for some
Hang on a
fun.
second. Let's get you up full screen, my lover, as they say in the trade. So that's Beth down there, looking in the Cornwall, so in the corner from Cornwall, with a SWAT hat on. I thought it was the Donald Trump SWAT team for a minute.
I just got the email, so I thought, oh, fancy dress, quick.
That'll teach me to email lots of people, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, Beth, bear with me a second, because I want to just play this little video. Are you up for a bit of brainstorming with us as well, with your orange wig?
Brilliant.
You've got your creative orange wig on, have you? Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm ready to rock.
We've got a bit of Cornwall in the house tonight, isn't it? Lovely.
All right, my biddies.
Okay, hold tight. Let's just play our little video of what we got up to in the summer at Art Camp. Be back with you in 2 minutes. Hold tight. 10 years ago, we went to Camp Bestville for the first time and just had a wonderful time. I thought, how can we bring this creativity back to our kids' school? And we started STEAMCO, running mini creativity festivals in schools. This summer in lockdown, we've done a Parliament launch event. We did 3-day pop-up virtual events at Eden Project. We did Your Glasgow, where we built a cardboard pyramid stage in a school playing field just down the road from Glastonbury. And we thought, how can we beat that? Well, here we are at the School of Art and Wellbeing in Devon. When we would otherwise have been at Camp Bestville, which was obviously cancelled, we've had a fantastic team of people pull together a weekend event, #ArtCamp20. We had a range of creative activities for families to get involved with, not just here, but live streamed onto the internet. We had an eclectic art trail in a meadow out front where we literally mowed a path through the grass and filled it with art of people that we knew, people we reached out to, and also people in the local community as well. Our lighting designer created the most incredible night trail that was just mind-blowing. And we've had just a fantastic time with performances, with talks, with community engagement activities and creative workshops. The kids built a castle because, inspired by Camp Bestville again, inspired by the venue, the setting, Lulworth Castle, we decided to set out to build castles in the sky. A phrase that so typically implies not being really supposed to be thinking or aiming above your station. To inspire kids to not just aim high, but higher than high, and to aim as high as those castles in the sky. We built a cardboard castle. We built several. And at the end of the day, we realise it's all about connection, it's about community, it's about people. And it's people that have made this event possible here at Art Camp 20. And we want to roll this out across the UK now. For the rest of the summer, we want to run events like this, and we reach out to partners who've helped us in the past, people like Barclays, people like Google, people like CassArt, to help us again deliver these events, deliver these activities for people not only here, but elsewhere across the internet and across the world. Thanks for listening. If you'll support us as a patron or a patron by being a part of what we're doing with your art, do get in touch now. Well, to be honest with you, puffing and panting, I literally just ran down to the fridge to get myself some cooking lager and a few other bits and pieces. I'm back, sorry about that. So that was Art Camp 20 last summer, and as you saw there, basically Melinda curated what we called a hashtag eclectic art trail in the field of a school of art in Devon, and it was absolutely wonderful. And that's what we want to do. Get my breath back, I've just run like a madman, haven't I? Beth's still there, I can just see her. Basically, we want to run events like this across the whole country. We want to empower communities to run little events like that, but under the banner of hashtag Festival 2022. So, what do you reckon to that, Beth? I can't hear you.
I've muted myself, I'm back in the game.
I muted you as well, don't worry.
You know us, we love a party, any chance to bring the community together.
So
when we can.
It's lovely to see you, Beth. Tell everybody what you do down there. You're a bit low on the screen there. Let's get a bit...
Oh, bless you, sorry.
Sit up straight when you talk to me.
So, my name's Beth, I'm from the Beach House. We run North Cornwall's venue on the beach, down at Widmouth in Bude. It's an aim was to create a venue that could invite people to North Cornwall to showcase all the best on offer, but through that model we would be able to use the sort of tourism income to be able to subsidise us to have a great venue that we could use out of the very short peak season for community. So running a home hub school here, family education, family learning, with families and children that are home hub educated. We do community music events, Sunday family days, lots of live music, campaigns. So any events and music that we do generally has a campaign running through it. Lots of young people involved, supporting local projects like the Wave Project, the young project that works with taking young people surfing in Cornwall who might come from deprived backgrounds, who might not have been to the beach, and launching their campaign to promote mental health, but also to promote their great work and engage more young people to the service. And background in youth community and festivals. So yeah, really love what Nick's doing. Really passionate believer in music and arts to engage people into lots of other things. Great way to bring people together, and it's a really informal setting in which to learn, not know you're learning, and bring all ages together. So it's really intergenerational, but it also events. We've been able to create lots of volunteering opportunities through festivals where you can create up to 200 opportunities in anything that someone might want to do. So it might be a volunteer who's young, not sure what they want to do, or it might be someone who wants to do sound engineering, they might want to do community development. And you can create opportunities around the festival to train and develop young people and adults as well. So yeah, a venue that's, you know,
I've got your website up here actually. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely spot right on the beach there. So it's just down from Bude, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, we took on it was a very old sort of 1970s coastal relic of a hotel, and we're on a wing and a pound and a prayer, bit by bit we've been doing it up, and it's all upcycled where possible, and sustainable local sourcing.
Lovely, fantastic. Well, I think we'll have to have a meeting down there. we've had a couple of cheeky little meetings. Melinda and I popped in we popped in at the end of last year, didn't we, to see you? It's always lovely to see you.
Right in the middle of the government announcement, so sadly I wanted to come and create more, but I was upstairs working out what on earth was happening. But we're all shut down, everyone's safe,
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get I've got a bit of cardboard here. It's not. I thought, you know, when you pull a piece of cardboard out, you think, oh, that looks nice, and you don't realise you've really cut a corner off it.
Brilliant.
But I'm going to clip this up on here. I've got some of these big clips. I hope Kathleen and Tilly are still there. So where am I going to put that? I'm going to clip that up on the Tate Modern thing there, like that. Got some of these big fat clips here. And what we'll do, I think we'll have a bit of a brainstorm. Oh, that lines up perfect on the little window. Look, that couldn't have been better, could it? Just curving off there like that. So come on, everybody in our studio audience then. So let's have some words. What one word does festival mean to you? I think one of the January challenge today, they did ask people to have a word to describe a festival. What do you think? Hang on, somebody's being a bit cheeky here. Richard Simpson's getting a bit cheeky. He says that Beth's wig matches your vest, Nick. Okay. I can't imagine what Richard Simpson does for a living, but if they leave him in charge of young people, we're just, it's all over. We haven't got a chance in this country, have we? Hang on, we've got Leah here. Link not connecting is still scheduled for yesterday. So that's yesterday's link you've got there, Leah. Did you get that from Malimba? How can I do this a little bit more easily? Malimba, can you connect with Leah somehow?
Yes.
In the chat and get her to email you and make sure she's got the link for today's and not yesterday's. Sorry about that. We don't know if we're coming or going today, but we almost have to try to be so amateurish because it just convinces people not to be afraid to get involved and have a go. I think if we were too polished, it would all be a bit embarrassing, wouldn't it? So let's have some words. What one word? And in fact, if anybody's at home, we have got an audience actually. This is quite remarkable. Let's get Richard Simpson. Let's have everybody. One word. What does a festival mean to you? Let's get one off you, Beth. What's your one word for a festival?
Aww.
One word. Come on.
I've got too many words.
Well, no, I could write pages, but there's sometimes less is more, isn't it?
Yeah, I think collaboration or I don't know. I want to say cacophony for some random reason.
Oh, you could tell you've had a job in the arts industry.
I like that word.
It's just poncy nonsense, there is.
Noise and excitement and hustle bustle.
Beth, cacophony, collaboration and canophony are posh arts industry words. You can do much better than that. Come on, let's have something that you could say to a farmer on a field down there in Widmouth Bay.
I was going to say melting pot, but there's too
Yeah, no, we're going to have that. No, we're going to have that. I'm allowing that. Melting pot, I love that. See, we got there in the end. You're a genius when you try. You must try harder more regularly. So there we go, that's melting pot. Okay, everybody at home, so melting pot. We're going to call that, I'll put a hyphen and that'll make it one word. We don't want Beth getting accused of cheating. So I'm going to put that one up there. Is that what's a bit too high on the board, isn't it? Let's put that, you see that? Yeah, okay. Anybody else got a word? Feel free to shout out. We need to bounce Beth off this screen because if you talk, it bounces her off, you see. Come on, Tilly, you must have a word.
I'd say inclusion.
That's lovely, okay.
I couldn't think of a better word for inclusion, but maybe something for everybody.
Great word.
Well, it's interesting actually because do you think that all festivals are inclusive?
I think they probably, lots of festivals have a variety of things, but I wouldn't say they were inclusive. You know, so I suppose you could say Glastonbury's inclusive because you can watch it on the television if you don't like crowds and you can't, you know, you can't pay £300 for a ticket or
well, there you go, yeah.
like a clean toilet.
Well, no, that's very interesting, isn't it, actually, because money makes a festival very exclusive and it excludes a lot of people. Now, funny enough, I went to a festival, where did I go the other year? It wasn't Camp Festival, I think it was Cornbury. And Costa Coffee had a stall there, and there were lots of people coming over. I said, oh, what are you doing here? Because I'll be honest with you, they weren't typical of the audience. It was quite a middle-classy kind of festival, as they often can be. And they said, oh, we're working for Costa. And we work in Costa's shops, and every year they let a bunch of us come to the festival. We do a few hours, and then we can actually have some hours at the festival. So I thought, what a great way of actually working your way to a festival. And that's a lovely thing for a company to give back. So let me just show you, this morning I posted a little, when I saw the festival thing, I was going to spend all day making a little film all about my dream festival, and in the end I just ended it saving pictures off the internet, which is great as well. But I went to a video, now this, I want to find the right film, and that's not it. I want to find it properly, hang on. It's a festival that I went to a couple of years ago. I actually just got up on a Saturday morning and went, and I'm not going to tell you how I got in because it's a bit naughty, but it did involve slippery wrists and wristbands. Let me have a look here, see if I can find this video. Maybe this is it. It's not actually the one I wanted, but oh gosh, that's not the one. Oh, where's the film I had earlier? Because the other thing, I think the point I wanted... Oh, I haven't got the password for that one. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, goodness me. Hang on. I'm going to find one. So this festival blew me away. I only went for 24 hours. I pitched my tent and I didn't actually go to bed. I got up at... I just went back to the train station because it was my father-in-law's birthday the next day and I had to be back for that. And I would have, if I hadn't, I would have been in an awful lot of trouble. So this is the film I wanted. Yeah, this is the film I wanted. Oh, go away. I don't want it in that little window thing. Hang on. YouTube make it so complicated sometimes, don't they? So this is a festival that will blow your mind, whether you like it or not, as in are into this sort of thing or not. So let me get this up full screen. Beth will know this because she'd have been to this festival a few times, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Right here, right now. I want to thank these little things, special request GQ and you lot for joining us. Boomtown, one more time, 2018.
That's not the one I wanted. Just got the wrong one there. Hang on a second. What was just about to start swearing right now? Just caught that just in time.
Right here, right now.
Where's the one I want? Oh, go away. I thought I had it then. This is the one. Watch this. Beautiful film.
We are building our version of a post-pandemic world, which is all about connection and community and celebration. All the actors and the characters will come out of the buildings and flood the streets. Huge parades will weave their way through the districts. There'll be pop-up sound systems on every corner, just a mass of colourful, creative energy.
You like the sound of that, Tilly?
It's very strange as an artist playing there.
Really?
There is a deeper part to all this.
No
For
sound.
thousands of years, people have been
washboard.
gathering together to learn, to share.
We played in the Wild West bit, and this is what they're saying. It's
We
a
feel
lot of actors
that
involved.
Yeah. But who's your band?
we can bring
John
about
D.
a
Revelator.
shift in mindset towards ourselves, towards each other, and towards this beautiful planet. This is the root of our new vision. This is Boomtown.
So basically this is a beautiful, beautiful film of Boomtown, which is actually one of the craziest places on earth. It's the best bit of Glastonbury that goes on in Winchester every year. Who've we got here? Anne on the line, is it?
I find it really odd because it's a bit of a juxtaposition because it's a really creative space. Like all this is brilliant. Like they create this whole world of supposedly anarchic, sort of post-pandemic this situation, but actually it's quite a corporate festival when you see what they charge, and you pay extra to have the clean loos and stuff like that. And they've got a children's field, which I know somebody who runs it, and I know people in there wouldn't let their kids out the kids' field because of the stuff that goes on outside of there. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of these odd juxtapositions. It's a really creative space, which is great, but actually the festival is, I don't know, it's a bit different to Glastonbury.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I actually wanted to show that, and it didn't really cut to the bit that I particularly wanted to show. But the music and the vibe at Boomtown is off the scale. I mean, to a lot of people, I suspect it would actually be quite intimidating, because it's the main arena must have about 30,000 people in it. And I mean, the dance arena, Ben High, they build a South Korean city, don't they, with all the lasers and the DJs. And I've done some clubbing in my time in DJ, but my goodness, it was banging techno for about 18 hours straight, as far as I could see. And I found that quite, so back to Tilly's word of inclusion, it didn't feel inclusive to me, and that's why I wanted to show that. Now, there are fields with reggae, there are fields with world music, there are beautiful glades in the forest. There is a kids area, and we were invited to go and help there a couple of years ago, and I was away that time, and I'd love to go and help, but honestly, I wouldn't take anybody under 12 there. I don't think.
I wouldn't take my kids there. We stayed in the car park, like the artist's car, the overflow car park, and we got driven in and out again. And I wouldn't want to take my kids there. I'd take my kids to all the festivals we play at, but I wouldn't take my kids to Boomtown.
But I honestly think it is one of the most amazing, most creative, most inspiring, all those things, incredible places on earth. Beth, have you ever been to Boomtown?
You know, ever since, because before here, obviously, I was events and community at Eden, so I was working 80 hours a week, you know, and then obviously doing events, you don't often get to go to them because you're doing them every day, every week, so you're constantly just doing events yourself. And then obviously came straight here, took on this old-fashioned building and have just been going hell for leather here. So you don't actually get to go to a lot of things yourself, even though you're putting on events. I used to go to events all the time, but now I'm running a venue with people staying here. I can't just disappear. It's really tricky.
Fair enough. Is that a long way of saying no, you've never been to Boomtown?
Yeah, but it looks amazing. Mum and I are desperate to go. The production looks incredible. I think it is one of the, like you say, for creating an experience, there is nothing like that.
It is
the underground.
It's basically it's as I understand it, it's a lot of the most incredible creative people from who are involved in Shangri-La and all the really cool stuff that goes on at Glastonbury. So it's basically Bristol goes to Hampshire for not just a 4-day festival. They start building that, I think, in March.
Yeah.
And when that festival opens, there are actually 6,000 people who've been on site already for several months building it. I mean, it's just phenomenal, the logistics.
An alternative city, isn't it?
It is.
An alternative.
It's off the scale. It really is incredible. So my point was to demonstrate that how can we, let's keep with these words, but the challenge we're going to have, if we're going to build Festival 22 next year, how can it genuinely be inclusive? How can everybody feel part of that? How can everybody afford to go? How can everybody get on with people sitting beside them in a food space? How can people enjoy dancing with somebody else? Or do you have lots of areas? I don't know how you do it. You know,
have you been to the smaller festivals? Because we're involved with I've played at and stewarded at the Fueled by Cider events. Outsider, I don't know if you know that one. I live in Glastonbury, so it's near. But and things like Rock, Stock and Barrel, they've got a really nice vibe, and then they're smaller, obviously under 5,000 people, but it's like a big family of people who go to all these similar festivals, and some of them are for under 18, some of them are for over 18s, you know, inclusive, but the actual, what they create there is really simple. It's like 1 or 2 stages, a central bar and campfire area, and it's a really nice atmosphere. There's loads of creative stuff going on like that. They have like fancy dress, and they have, you know, other things going on as well. But it's a really fun, chilled atmosphere, and the people who go to those festivals tend to go to all the similar ones because it's.
Well, and that's so that's back to Kathleen's point earlier, because her association with a festival was very much based around music and a certain energy that might go with that music, you know, and to be honest, I think that's a million miles away from something like this, you know, which is absolutely full on. This is Boomtown. Look at this.
Well, I know the guys from the guys who built Boomtown, and they came along to Outsider when I was stewarding it, and they were absolutely exhausted because obviously it's the play hard, work hard thing, and they basically spend weeks building the thing. It's not just like a weekend festival, is it? It's a complete. They spend months building it, and then they spend a few weeks taking it down afterwards. So.
Well, that's right. So I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I've been to clubs and events all over the world. It is just incredible. So there we are with that. So what would your word be, Anne, for a festival, to sum up a festival, or what festivals mean to you? What would your word be?
Well, I put it in the chat. I said family, because quite a lot of the time the festival, because like Watch It Festival, for example, that's a really good example of a festival. It's a bigger festival, and they do include creativity, family things. They link with the community, and the people involved in that. Obviously, there are people involved in organising it who are sort of professional. But there's a hell of a lot of volunteers who support it in terms of getting it on, running it and promoting it as well. And they also link with the local town. They have shuttle buses from the festival site on top of the hill down to the Pebbles Bar in the town, and they have a little open mic thing, and they have busking in the street. They link with the arts centre. So.
And which festival is that you're talking about there, Anne? Which one? Hot Chip?
Watch It.
Oh, Watch It. Whereabouts is that then? That's down your way.
It's in Watch It in Somerset.
Oh, a place called Watch It, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's near Minehead.
Oh, okay, over that way then. So where do you say you're Glastonbury, are you?
Yeah, and all the shops in the town, they link it with the town festival. So all the shops in the town dress their windows, because they have a fancy dress theme on the Sunday, and all the shop window displays in the town are on that theme. So like a big, so they all get involved with the themes. Like it was Alice in Wonderland one year, and have all the things, and it's all, and they raise money for local charities. So it's a really good community family feel.
That's lovely, isn't it? I'm juggling, believe it or not, I'm juggling with a video camera. I've got a video camera here, and I'm going to try and get a video on this little post-it note board. So how would you describe that festival? Is it a food festival? Is it an art festival? Is it a banging techno festival?
It's primarily a music festival. They have a main stage where they have acts like, who do they have? Sophie Ellis-Bextor, they have the Specials, they have UB40. They're the big sort of mainstream acts on the
I was going to say, lots of bang up-to-date stuff.
But they have, the older crew. They have the Wurzels every year as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, each to their own.
But they have the Something Else tea tent has a tent there. I don't know if you know Gail Something Else. She organises quite a lot of stuff. And they have an acoustic tent, and they have they've got a silent disco for families and kids to do. They've got a meditation and prayer tent. They've got a craft tent. They've got food there as well.
But the fancy with silent discos are anything but silent. It's just a lot of people shouting in a tent, I find,
well,
actually.
It's mainly for the kids, that, really.
I know.
They've got actually one thing that's inclusive. They've actually got a youth tent. They've got a tent with programming for kids and for the older teens to actually hang out in there as well and connect.
Oh, cool.
So it's really well thought out. Jackie and Mark who are organising it are brilliant. They really sort of think of everybody, to include everybody, you know.
So Leah's come up with Connection. I just wrote that up there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm actually quite proud of myself, actually, because I've now got a camera set up here, videoed on there, and I might be able to get it up full screen as well. We've got another one. Ruth's come up with a word as well. I'll come back to you in a moment, Ruth. Let me just save the settings on that. And now I'm going to go. Actually, I should be able to just press that. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hang on. That one? No. Oh, killed everything now. Lost a lot. Hang on a second. So, I know what the problem is. So that wants to be number. I have to think aloud. It's a bit of a senior moment, me thinking aloud like this. That should come up full screen now. Now, why hasn't it? Because that's on there. Okay, there we go. So I'll save that as number 8. So this is. Well, that's gone black again. Why's that gone black? Hang on. Oh, because the battery's gone flat in that camera. Okay, so hang on a second. I wasn't going to use that camera. The battery's gone flat. Hang on a second. I'll plug that in there.
I'm going to go back to the Boomtown thing. I thought
yeah, go for it.
This, Nick, because I shouldn't have done, but we took this as a souvenir on our way out, right? There's a sign here from Boomtown. It says end of amnesty, right? And at the bottom, it says, drugs are not welcome here in this city. Now, anyone who's been to Boomtown will know, nobody sticks to that message. I mean, they're very safe with drugs. They've got a drugs testing facility there for people who want to do that sort of thing. But that's the way I wouldn't take my kids to Boomtown, because that's what people do. They take drugs and go dancing. A lot of them there.
Well, there's quite a lot of that goes on in society. I'm not going to condone it for a second, but
it's quite a funny sign to have, because anyone who goes to Boomtown is like, that is the culture there. You know, that's.
I think you'll probably find that might be part of their licence, that they have to be seen to be doing their best, but they don't want to be too draconian. And as you say, I must admit, I found it quite stout. Well, I'm a bit of an old bloke, and I'm a bit naive to a lot of these things, but I was quite surprised to see a place where you could actually take drugs to be tested, and kids were queuing up to have their drugs tested.
Well, it's good though. It's a safe.
It is good, absolutely.
Thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is good.
Just to add to that, I don't know if you saw, but the culture minister had the Boomtown. One of the organisers came in to contribute on the festivals and COVID response. And she actually was saying to the government that zero tolerance policy is working, and they've tried really hard, and that they know they have this you know, it's a culture issue. Like Nick said, it's not just Boomtown, it's happening all over, not just the country, the world. But particularly Boomtown does have a big problem, and they've said that they've tried, you know, zero tolerance, it doesn't work. And actually, as a youth worker, we were always taught harm reduction. And you're right, harm reduction, they have said, actually, they've got a better chance if they could do more drug testing on the site. They said they've got way more chance of keeping people safe and alive. And by doing that, it's actually better because they cannot stop them doing it. So abstinence doesn't work, so harm reduction is the only way.
Yeah, it's a great idea, but we just took that as a souvenir on the way out. I thought that was funny because if anyone.
Well, no, I mean, absolutely, and you know, I hate to say it, but harm reduction doesn't make very good newspaper headlines, does it, Beth? That's part of the problem.
Absolutely, but we know, like, if you say, you know, to young people, don't have sex, abstinence doesn't work. So by not promoting safe sex, contraception,
Absolutely. There's another conversation here, but I think back to the point, and the reason I showed Boomtown was, one, it's an amazingly creative, incredible event. And in fact, their PR and marketing communications manager was in an all-party parliamentary group conference the other day in Parliament talking about this and the pressure on the festival industry and literally begging for money from the government to survive this year. I know Emily Eavis from Glastonbury the same. But the reason I mentioned it was because of the drugs, maybe, because of the noise, because of the genre of music, because in fact 80% of the audience sometimes feels as if they've just done their GCSEs and actually don't have very much respect for the environment. The biggest challenge I believe that Boomtown have got is not drugs, it's their impact on the environment and that land, and I know that they identified that and they're looking to plant, I think, 40,000 trees in a rainforest, and they're really working hard on that, and the banning one-use plastic and all that sort of stuff. So we've got some more words here. Ruth came up with fun. I'm only doing this because I want to be able to press that button there and show off, you see, because I've got my video working now, so I can put fun on there, and I can put fun over here like that. So any more words before we finish this? We've got cosy. Somebody's come up with cosy. That's a nice one. I think that's one of Malumba's. You don't want to go to a festival with Malumba because he's got the smallest one-man tent in the world, and that's why he says cosy, probably. It is a Steamco official tent.
I've got a word. No.
Come on, yeah, go for it, Kathleen. Yeah, what's your word?
My word is community.
That's a lovely word, yeah.
I belong to a critical friends group of the new Art Gallery Walsall, and we've signed up to a Walsall for All pledge, which is working towards community cohesion, parity of opportunity, increasing the aspirations for children from disadvantaged areas. And I think a festival doesn't, there's obviously, it depends on your definition of the word festival, and I think that a festival can be on a completely different scale to the one that yourself and Anne have been talking about, and it can be a local community festival which can have all the same things at it but just on a different scale, and ensuring that actually, you know, if it's on a smaller scale, rather than having, say, different food types in one field and another food type in another, that it's all more accessible together for everybody, and that all the different participants of the community can come along and bring their world and what they want to share to.
And I think that brings us back to what the word festival means. And you know, we've all picked words of what festival means to us. Funny enough, actually, the start of that Boomtown film, Kathleen, which I'd commend you to go back to, because the three words that they felt that Boomtown is about was community, connection, and I forget what the third one was. And for me, I'm actually going to write celebration. How about a festival being a celebration?
Yeah.
And I'm not holding any of you to one word, because this is how brainstorms work. Hopefully the ideas of each other inspire each other. So, I mean, what have we got up here now? We've got fun, we've got community, we've got melting pot, family, connection, cosy. So there's a bunch of words. I beg your pardon?
Unity?
Unity, that's a nice one, isn't it? That's coming off
Like
inclusion,
for a
isn't it?
common goal, isn't it?
I'll tell you what I'm going to put. Can I put that on inclusion, or is that not right?
Yeah.
Do you think? Do you think that's right?
Absolutely, inclusion or united. Yeah, you're all working together for the common cause, aren't you? You've all got your own bits.
Yeah, I think you're right, Beth.
Areas, but it's all about the culmination of.
I'm actually gonna.
How about discovery?
Oh, yeah, I like.
You know, do you know what? I'm gonna have to stop you.
Experiences, aren't they?
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to stop you right there because on my Boomtown screen, you can't make this up. A video of Nigel Farage has literally just popped up between the ads. Can you make this up? And there's an advert for Wealth Revival. I don't know if that's him. I think it is him doing money ads, and we'll come back to that because there is a Nigel Farage. I don't want to be party political at all tonight, but I want to be policy political, if you like, or policy driven. But where was I? That distracted me for a moment. So Beth, I'm actually going to treat you to your own post-it note, and I'm going to give you Unity. I think I have, haven't I? Where did I put? Oh, there. That's there. Nigel Farage threw me off, so I'm going to put that up there because for me, those post-it notes are all about what a festival could be. So those are my what post-it notes up there. I think those. And let's not pretend that we've captured a festival in 4 post-it notes because that would be beyond arrogant and presumptuous. But let's think what a festival could include. What elements might a festival consist of? Let's get some words for that. I don't know if we've got anybody out in our audience still. We've got our audience is getting bigger actually. That's quite good. We've got warm and escapist.
The one that I'm going to be organising.
Hello, who are you? Leah, we haven't had you before, have we? Are you Leah that popped up a moment ago? Fantastic. Hello, welcome to, we'll give you full screen. You've got your favourite.
I'm from Scotland.
Check you out, that's fantastic.
For the festival that I'm organising called Rainbow Connections, we're going to be having things like a storyteller's tent.
I'm going to roll slower. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to do this on another bit on the board, you see. Let me get my camera down there. So stories. Can I write that? Is that one of your words? So these are the elements of what would make a festival. Now, I know yours is family friendly, but let's just pretend we're all one family for a moment, particularly Scotland and England and Wales and Northern Ireland, without getting all sort of political about what that represents. But so give me some more words then, Leah, while you're new to the room. So let's have some more words off you, shall we?
I've got arts and crafts.
Okay, hang on. I'm not going to. I won't have arts and crafts mixed quite like that because I think it just lumps everything in one. So you can have one on each post-it note. What do you want?
Just split them on.
That's cool. Let's split it then.
Yeah.
And do you want art or arts?
Arts.
That's good answer because I'm quite bit particular about that myself. So you want crafts on one. That's a nice one. So because crafting and making and that's very broad, isn't it? That's lovely. And that's very accessible for everybody, isn't it? So you're touching into the accessibility there as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've also got cookery.
Cookery, lovely. Hang on, get me... I'm trying to get my camera sorted out for this now. Hang on. So let me go to that one. So stories, arts, crafts, cookery. Can we say food or do you mean cookery?
Actually teaching kids how to...
Oh, the process,
like,
that's
bake a
good.
cake or something.
Yeah, okay, that's good. So... Well, I'm actually going to do a separate post-it note then for food, if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because I think the ingredients and provenance are important, particularly being a butcher's boy from Ludlow. Because I know what goes in those pork pies, and you don't want to know. I'll tell you now.
I live with a chef, so I know everything.
Okie dokie. I'll just get rid of that for a second. So, what other words have you got there, Leah? Anybody else got any words? Like
One other thing that we've got is I took part in a creative writing workshop throughout the lockdown, and I've got the actress who actually performed my monologue coming to perform at the festival.
Check you out. So how many words? Have I got enough post-it notes for that? Because I'm thinking words, I'm thinking poetry, I'm thinking stories, I'm thinking performance.
Performance kind of sums it all up, and I've got music as well.
Yeah, I think performance is too generic. Do you mind if I override you on that one?
Go for it.
So let's have. Can we have poetry first, Leo? Would you mind?
Go for it.
Because today is Lem Sisay's day, and he's one of the most amazing poets and wordsmiths. I don't know if you know Lem's work. Do you know Lem Sisay?
Yeah, I've followed a lot of his challenges.
Oh my goodness! Have you ever done his? Have you checked out his Desert Island Discs?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my goodness, makes me cry every time I listen to it. That does. It's beautiful.
What was the name? Sorry, I didn't catch.
Lem Cisse.
Lem Cisse. He's the poet who's one of the four artists who's been coming up with ideas and curating the January challenge. And I'm not going to tell you his story now because it's a 4-hour live stream in its own right. But just Google, or other search engines are available. Search for Lem Cisse, Lemn, which is lemon without an O, Cisse, Sissay, and he and Desert Island Discs. Are you writing that down, Beth?
Yeah.
You don't know Lem Cisse?
I don't know if I do.
You should be ashamed of yourself, my lover.
Yeah, I don't know if I do or not. There's a lot of music I know, but
It's
I
not
don't
music, this is
remember the
poetry.
name.
This is poetry.
I might listen to it and be like, oh, of course, but no, I don't think I do.
Well, I'll be honest.
It's Israeli.
I'll be honest with you, Beth. He did a talk at Lanson a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I've got a feeling I emailed you and said, die for tickets for this, and you obviously didn't go along, but not to worry, that's what happens. You're busy running a business.
But I might know if I see. But Disraeli,
So
check out.
we've got well, Disraeli's brilliant, one of your local chaps.
There's
So
a poet called Liv Talk who does a Rainbow Fish Speakeasy, and that's like a poetry sort of
amazing rainbow.
pop that in the comments then.
thing, which is really good.
So Leah, a moment ago we got you on poetry, and you also said music. I think music is a really, really important one, and that is so broad, isn't it? Because one man's music is somebody else's headache if you're not careful.
Yeah, because I run a project called Murray's Got Talent, and we're all about empowering young people and adults to believe in their talent whilst tackling mental health stigma.
Whereabouts are you in Scotland, Leah?
I'm in between Aberdeen and Inverness. We're in the Moray coast on the northeast.
So the northeast side, just above just above Edinburgh.
We're in between Aberdeen and Inverness.
So if the crow flew, it would get to you eventually north, wouldn't it? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a lot of social deprivation around there, and
yeah,
and art and culture, and the projects you're doing could fill that void.
Yeah, we've got loads.
Fantastic. Would you be interested in getting involved in this #Festival22 if we were to do that? Because
definitely.
I'll be honest with you, I had a chat with some people from Scotland a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, and I told them what my plans were, and they said, no, we're not going to have anything to do with it because you're English and we're Scottish, and that's the end of it. Oh, okay, well, fair enough. But and I respect that view, but there's a whole conversation around the union here which I don't particularly want to go into, but at the end of the day, we are a bunch of people technically still part of an organisation called the United Kingdom, and hopefully there can be some mutual respect shown as we move forward in time. And I think
we can keep in touch via email.
That would be fantastic. Well, there you go. That's another way of doing it, isn't it? Okay. So, anybody else got any words for what is in a festival? So let me put the word includes. I'm going to have a post-it note that says includes here. Things that are in a festival. Anybody out there in the audience in our
we played at a thing called the Green Scythe Festival, which had scything, which is an unusual thing to have in a festival. But it's traditional crafts, so rural crafts and traditions.
Well, we've got crafts already, but I like that word tradition.
Scything.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Hang on a
they
second.
had demonstration. They had scything competitions that had people cutting swathes of grass in a bit like one man and his dog, but with a scythe.
Okay. So
Solar-powered stages and lots of different things, beekeeping and all sorts of things like that. Rural traditions.
I'm trying to think of some. Yeah, should we put the word, because the word culture is quite broad. Should we put traditions in there, because it might ground us? Because I'd imagine, Leah, you've got a lot of different traditions to what Anne's got, to what I've got, to what Malumba's got. Malumba, you've been around a fair bit, haven't you? Whereabouts are you from? And what's your kind of cultural journey? What do you think of the word traditions? What would that mean to you? Can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Have you got your mic mute? I still can't hear you. That might be. Is it me? Yes, it is me. Sorry, carry on. Keep talking, Malumba. That was me. My fault. There's too many buttons to press, aren't there?
Well, the word tradition for me always conjures up folklore. So I think, and maybe it's cultural. Maybe because I'm from the Congo, I think of traditional dances, traditional costumes. So costumes is a great thing to have at festivals.
Okay, so I think what we could probably do is we could probably drill down into all of these, couldn't we? So the word tradition, it has aspects of rituals, of dances. I mean, where Cornwall comes from, the irony is that I think it's down in Falmouth, maybe across the whole of Cornwall, there is a day of the year, possibly Boxing Day, where they literally black their faces and do like a Morris dance type thing. Do you know much about that, Beth?
The May Day.
Oh, it's May Day, is it?
Padstow May Day, yeah. It's they have the two osses, so you have the blue oss and the red oss.
Hang on, what's an oss? What's an oss?
The oss is a horse. It's like a medieval, and a town villager will wear the oss costume. It's very big, and they dance like this with the band and through the streets, and it's just a massive excuse for Cornish to get drunk. And people from all over the country come for this day, and that's all sort of like really old-fashioned celebration. And talking about someone, I can't remember if it was Kathleen or Anne perhaps, was saying about where the tradition of a certain festival in the community where they dress all the houses. Well, May Day, traditionally, they used to dress all the houses with colour and decorate all their windows, and then the oss comes through with the red, and everyone wears a red scarf or a blue, and they would, I think it was the oss that would do their face, but I don't know if they do anymore, or whether I got it wrong, but I'm sure it was called something. I think it was called, I'm going to Google it because I don't want to get it wrong because it's really bad.
Well, that's all right. Well, you can look that up. Well, thanks for that. So I know we've done this under the guise of a prize draw, which we are going to get onto in a moment. I want to just do, and I'll be honest with you, I am making this up as I go along, but I would like to go to the last bit of this diagram here. And as I say, I had no plans for this, so if you ever want to me to run a workshop, I'll actually plan it in advance. But we've looked at what a festival is. We've looked at what a word for a festival. We've looked at post-it notes dropping off left, right, and centre. We've looked at what a festival might include. What I'd like to look at now, just very, very quickly, and then we'll move on, is how a festival might be delivered. Now, if we think of Boomtown and festivals like that, that's delivered like Glastonbury on a festival site. Bude Carnival is delivered on the streets. So I'm gonna kick this off myself now and actually say, so the first one is, okay, we're going to have Field. And that's classic Glasgow territory and mud and all that sort of stuff. So we'll put that one there. Bude Carnival that we saw earlier with that chap and his tractor driving down through Bude. That was in the streets. So that's kind of, well, let's put street and let's put carnival in brackets, because obviously Notting Hill Carnival. And we actually were the only people doing Notting Hill Carnival this year. We actually filmed the whole route the week before. I put a camera on the roof of the car, drove round for the day, and then we used that film as a green screen background and pretended we were actually on Notting Hill Carnival. So street is a place. How else would we deliver a festival? Kathleen, are you still there? Mad scramble to get the microphone. Let's have a look. She's still there. Kathleen, what word would you have for how a festival might be delivered? We've done field and we've done streets, because you said something earlier that what do you think?
Hello?
There you go. There we go. What go on.
It could involve an art gallery and around the environs of an art gallery.
Oh, that's nice. That's a lovely one. Galleries.
With, art things going on, and like Melinda arranged a sort of art exhibition.
That's interesting, but let's hope that the word galleries is open to redefinition, so it's not just big buildings like we've got behind us here at Tate, which can be quite a barrier to a lot of people, can't they?
Yeah.
So you said earlier, was it you that you were talking about shop windows earlier? Was it you that was talking about shop windows, or was that Anne?
No.
So go on.
I'm not sure.
Watch it festival shop windows.
So shop windows, I think, is a lovely one.
You can also do street. I exhibited in a gallery in County Durham, in one of the old mining communities in County Durham, and we had the artist sent the pieces of artwork, and members of the public had it in their home windows. And they created a map, and people walked around looking at the art in the people's windows, and then people were invited to create their own artworks as a response to the art that was on display in just people's homes.
Now that's lovely, because didn't a lot of people did that before Christmas, didn't they? Didn't a lot of people have to do sort of light displays in their windows for like an advent calendar type vibe?
There's an organisation called Window Wonderland. It's based in Bristol. My friend works for them, and they get villages and towns to do these window displays. It's quite a thing.
It's interesting because one of the big things for me is connecting people in their communities without having to go somewhere. So, for example, the Big Lunch, which the Eden Project run, gets people to just have their lunch in their street. And the process of eating together, whether you've just got your own meal on your own table, but suddenly people start chatting to their neighbours. And this summer, Malumba and I, we did a thing called Little Big Lunch, where we just encourage people to have their lunch outside the house in lockdown, in the same way they've been clapping for carers, to actually sit and have their lunch in front of their house, totally socially distanced, not rocket science, but again, it just needs somebody to do that, doesn't it? So I'm actually going to put front yards or doorsteps as a place where festivals could take place. Does that ring a bell? Does that make sense, Anne?
Yeah.
Go on.
Also true.
Who's that? Kathleen? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we have a Christmas tree festival in Stafford, and it takes place in a church.
Churches, so, lovely, yeah.
It's a kind of festival, but the whole community takes part.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, actually, because churches have never been so busy. I don't know if you know, in lockdown, they've been flat out, but nobody's going. They're all doing it at home. And we've got a vicar near here, actually, Father Gary Bradley in the parish of Little Venice, who is one of the most fantastic sermon givers. I mean, he should be charging £10 a time for his talks and his sermons. They're absolutely wonderful. And he's on Instagram Live. Now, I can't work out Instagram Live, and he does Instagram Live. It's fantastic. So, and there's a whole talk now about how these church buildings might be not repurposed as such, but how their use might be shared. We did a talk in the summer in Ludlow Church, where I'm from, and the vicar there, the rector there, was describing how they've taken all the old pews out, which fixed the purpose. You could only do events that involve sitting down. They've taken all the pews out. They've now got movable chairs, which isn't rocket science, is it? Let's face it, chairs that move. We've all got them at home, so why don't we have more in church? They can move the chairs out, and that space is now available for community events, for book sales, for food markets, for coming together to eat, for pot suppers, all sorts of things. And suddenly, because one of the biggest problems we've had, and I know that Beth won't appreciate this, but will understand what I'm saying, in London particularly, a lot of pubs have been closed down and sold for property development. So we've lost a lot of those public meeting spaces. But what we have to do is look for spaces that are never going to be taken over. Now, we've got a church over the road from me, between Malumba and I, that's now been turned into flats. Now, we've got to stop that happening. We've got to keep these public spaces and empower communities to use them, to come together, to organise. So I'm glad you said that, Kathleen. That's a lovely one, churches. So
churches is great.
Isn't it lovely? Really, really good one.
I think it's a brilliant idea. It's making my mind race the potential, and because of if you find a nice old big church, the potential of having different environments in that same building, so that people can mill about and have different, you know how you go to a festival and you have different feelings in different fields, and you can create that in a church quite easily, different atmospheres. So the church is absolutely brilliant.
The acoustics in the church halls are usually really good as well, because they're meant for projecting. And in Glastonbury every year, but we didn't have it this year, obviously, we have the Frost Fair, which the whole of the town gets closed down, the high street, and people have stalls. So it's like a big Christmas fair. But my friend looks after the local United Reformed Church, so we set up the craft fair in there, but we have an open mic as well, so we have people performing music, all sorts of music, and people sit in the pews and listen to the music, but we put the speakers out into the street so people in the market can hear the music as well, and then they get drawn into the church to come in and get a hot cup of tea. And
that's lovely. It's interesting.
It's also nice because a festival a lot of times can be a very spiritual experience for a lot of people. So from a metaphoric point of view, having a festival in a church would be absolutely brilliant.
and again, you see, I think another thing we have to discuss is a festival something that happens over 4 days, or is a festival something that can happen over a year and have different forms during that year? So for one weekend it's something banging techno and lots of dance music and crazy visuals like Boomtown, but then the weekend before it's a sausage festival in a church in Frome in Somerset, and then the week after it's something in Belfast, and the week after that it's something with boats bobbing around on a fishing port in Cornwall. But there's something that ties them all together, you know, under this common banner, #Festival22 working title. But, you know, is that the challenge? So that over the year everybody feels part of this festival, and if a bit of it happens near them, they go to it. And if they log online, they see it online and they can share it, they can restream it. I mean, we pitched in to be part of Festival22 and we weren't accepted, but we didn't have a big festival partner that was good at high-vis jackets and crash barriers and fireworks and big wheels. We went in with an organisation that is the world's biggest live streaming organisation. And they run events for gamers and for sports people. They did the Biden election thing. And they get millions of people because they've got the tools that enable people to grab a video like we've got here and then restream it and do what I'm doing here. So they're talking over somebody else's content. So they're empowering people to be mini broadcasters. And I think these are the new models. And this is how you start getting towards 64 million people at a festival over the course of a year. So yeah, we need to move on to our prize giving. But I just want to summarise very quickly because I think this is. I didn't really anticipate it being quite as exciting as this, but we've got the what, unity, melting pot, family, connection, cosy, inclusion, fun, celebrations. That's what we think a festival is, and community. And I particularly like, there are lots of co-words in here, like community, connection, cosy, that's a new co-word for me, but they're lovely co-words, STEAM Co, because the co stands for collaboration, as I said. We've got, two I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull up my gallery view, so we've got everybody there. What a festival might include: stories, food, poetry, traditions, music, crafts, cookery, arts, and I'm sure there's a lot more. I could put film in there.
Market.
I beg your pardon, what was that, sorry?
Market.
Market, yeah, place where people can sell things. I've run out of pink post-its now, so I'm going to put market. Okay, anybody else? Any more one word? Sorry, Melinda?
Bubbles.
Yeah, you've got to have the bubbles.
We got dance in there.
No, we haven't. Let's have dance.
Bubbles.
We have got dance now. Anybody else? Anybody want to add anything else on there? There you go. That's what we've got at the moment. So that's what it includes.
Are you allowed to do
light
face
installation?
painting now?
Oh, light! We love light trails. We do love a good light trail. We know a bunch of. So Paul Jarvis is your man for light trails down Dorset. He's super. So let's put light trails. And I did actually reach out today to try and get hold of a few people. There's an amazing man called Pete Lawrence who used to run a thing called the Big Chill, and he used to have an amazing light trail at the Big Chill. We used to love it. At the end of the day, about 10 o'clock, they'd open a field up, and you could walk up this hill, and there were lots of amazing just light things. And some of them were just a bunch of fairy lights in a tree, but obviously done a bit more creatively than that. And it was
that takes me back to the church idea. So imagine you have a church with a beautiful cemetery in the back, and then at night you have a light trail in the cemetery. That would be just out of this world, because it's multi-layered now.
And that's all down to amazing settings, isn't it?
Beautiful, yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's something really stunning, like you say, about churches, that something about the architectural beauty as well as the acoustics, and it just all sings together like art, doesn't it? It's magic of space.
I think that's the big revelation today as far as festivals are concerned, is church. And then we're really going to look into that.
Well, I'm actually, there's a bit of a saying actually, this is my party and I'll cry if I want to. Well, this is my party and I'll show a Kylie video if I want to. Because you haven't seen my Kylie video, have you, Beth? You're going to love this.
No, I haven't.
This is a film that I made over Christmas, because basically I've hung a mirror ball up in the tree outside my house and put lights in the tree and baubles. And then I heard Kylie saying this on the radio just the other day.
I think there's something to be said for the history of disco and where that came from, people finding a place to feel they belonged, or wanted to escape to. I do like the notion of a disco ball. You just have to put one light on it and it refracts light everywhere, and you know, just kind of makes everything look pretty and in motion. And yeah, so it's kind of finding yourself through the darkness or through the struggle. So I think that's one of the reasons that disco has resonated so well this year.
So that's one of the things that I will take forward as a kind of a signpost. It's been one of the good things to come out of this year. We have reconnected and rediscovered and remembered how important community is. I think that's been, if there's any one lesson that we could take from all of these, that's been the one.
So there you go, that was my little Kylie moment. So basically my little disco mirror ball, the amount of people who've come up to me in the street and chatted to me about that mirror ball and what it's meant to them, it's been absolutely wonderful, it really has.
Amazing.
And as Kylie said there, you know, it shines a light into people's houses, and you see it. Everybody's come up to me and said, your mirror ball is shining lights into my flat, into my room, into my house.
Amazing.
And it's just been absolutely lovely. It really has. So yeah. So maybe I need a mirror ball on there somewhere. I don't know. But so those are the includes, and then obviously the how we might deliver it. We looked at that as well. Different ways of delivering a festival, and I'm going to build on this. I really want to build on it. So I don't know if you guys are. Why is that? I don't know. I've got a black window at the bottom there. It's a bit confusing. Oh, it's because that video behind. Sorry. There we go. So
all your circus skills as well.
There you go. Circus. I'm going to stop. I was going to move on, but I'm going to put circus in because I think circus is really important.
And quickly before you move on, because I feel like I went off to Google what you were saying about earlier, and I thought I must address this because I did get it wrong about May Day. I've got to make that right.
I thought you did. Yeah, it's not May Day.
Anyone in Cornwall's watching, I'll get in hella trouble.
Go on. So what is it? Is it Boxing Day?
Well, it is Padstow, but it is Boxing Day, and it was called Darky Day, and it was linked with the winter solstice and the pagan times. It's obviously terrible, controversial links. So I think it was something like the Mummer's Day, and then it's the Darky Day, and it was linked with the coming of the darkness and the winter solstice. But it was Padstow, and that's why I confused, because the May Day is the solstice coming of the light, and the winter Padstow is the coming of the darkness, and it was the Darky Day, and obviously very controversial.
Well, yeah, but these are just words, aren't they? And there's another whole conversation. I'm going to have this conversation later this year, but a whole conversation about the kind of woke and cancel culture thing as well, and tradition, because one thing I haven't said so far today is that the Festival 22 was initially conceived by the government to celebrate creativity and promote Britain to the world using art and culture and innovation, because let's face it, we've got to start selling ourselves post-Brexit. It's been dubbed the Brexit Festival by many people, which I understand, but together with that has come a lot of hate, a lot of division, a lot of negativity. So people have said to me, if I work on the Festival 2022, I will never work again in arts in this country, which for me is not inclusive. It's not very nice, blah, 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 but I'm not going to worry too much about that now. So we do have to understand ways. We have to get away from this binary extreme, which seems to be happening so many places in everything, whether it's Black Lives Matter and cancel culture and that sort of stuff, and try and find some ground that can be respectful, that can be, and just everybody get on. And that's the objective for Festival 22. And in a way, I'm quite glad that we're not part of the big Festival 22 thing, because it's inspired us to do something at grassroots, which I know is something you're bedded in, Beth, and I know that you believe that's where a lot of the good work starts. So we're on a mission this year, hashtag InspireNation22. I want to get some money together to put 3 of those little trucks on the road, and to find 3 people, a bit like me. So if you know anybody like me, don't get them sectioned yet. Get them in touch with me. We'll try and get the money together to give them a little trailer like that, and we're going to find 3 places in the country where we can put them on the road and run little pop-ups like we did in Cornwall and like we've done in Leeds and Liverpool, to see what works.
Yeah, we'll take you in Scotland.
Will you? Well, yeah. I'm going to hold you to that, Leah, actually. You be careful. I'm going to hold you on that.
I'm serious. Well, I know a lot of young people that would benefit from the workshops that you host.
Okay,
particularly the young people I support.
Okay, Leah, so what you need to do in the next few days then is to rack your brains for somebody a bit like me. And there's another post-it note brainstorm that, what does that look like? Because, I mean, if you like, what I call my elevator pitch, I've got a degree in engineering, I've got design A-level, and I've got a big gob. So I'm quite handy at understanding technology, making all this nonsense stuff work here. I'm quite vaguely understand the creative stuff, and I'm good at selling it in theory. And it does take a good all-rounder. So if you could think of something like that, I'm thinking an ex-teacher, a drama teacher, a music teacher, or an actor between work, somebody who wants a year's contract, or 6 months this year, and then maybe a year next year. Because next year, I want to put 22 people like me on the road with 22 little trucks going around running events, because we can provide the glue between the big wheels and the fireworks and the Jamie Olivers and all the really cool stuff that Festival 22 is going to do. We can provide grassroots glue that brings the country together. And for you to say that to me, Leah, tonight, that's made everything worthwhile to tonight, because that is Scotland and England and the United Kingdom really coming together for a community, as far as I'm concerned, but grounded in creativity and those connections. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. And particularly if you were to like open it up to young people in the transition between high school and college, I've got quite a few of my young people I support that would gain benefit from that.
Well, I think it would be totally wrong if it didn't include young people. I think it should be by form with young people, because it's those young people's futures we're building. I mean, Ken Robinson said it's all about all our futures. And I think that's absolutely critical. Lem Cisse I think it was Lem who put it up on the 64 Million Artists page today. His dream festival would be created by and for 21-year-olds, and each of them can invite 21 people that they want to take. Now, those 21 people don't necessarily have to be 21 years old. I think you would be picking those 21 people because they would bring a representation of their community or their interest groups or whatever. And wouldn't that be interesting to be brave and bold enough to actually give this to 21-year-olds to run? And maybe that's a festival you could...
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's a festival...
I've got 10 young people ranging from 10 till about 16. And all of them have done fantastic things throughout this lockdown. For example, they've played bagpipes at Remembrance Sunday without being asked to.
Wow.
I've got a selection of young people that goes around the nursing homes, etc. So I've got some really creative young people.
Well, and can you imagine if you said to those young people, we're going to have a festival, and I want you to run it with me, and we're going to get one of these trucks, and one of the events during the year will be a little mini festival, and another event might just be an afternoon in the school for the parents to be, because a lot of parents, there's a chap called Michael Rosen, who's a fantastic poet, and he's written a brilliant book, I've got it here somewhere, and it's how to be your child's best teacher, and how to be your best teacher, because we can't keep fobbing this off on teachers. We all have a responsibility for our children and young people as parents, and as communities. We call them creative carers, people who care about creativity, children, and all our futures, That's ringing bells with you, Leah, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. In the young people that I work with, the parents are involved with the project as well, so it's something that for us going forward we would love to get involved with and support you to bring it up to Scotland.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leah, you've made my night tonight. That's that book that I was mentioning, actually. That's the Michael Rosen book, How to Be Your and Your Child's Best Teacher. But this is a book that changed my life a few years ago. It's a book called Your Turn by Seth Godin. And it's about getting up and getting on and doing things. Now, Seth Godin sent me 2 cases of these books. I paid for, in fact, he sent me 2 cases, that's right. I've got a few left. If I sent one of those to you, would you like that? Have a read of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like that? I'll send that to you. Send me your address afterwards. We've got your email, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'll send you a copy of that, because this is a book that I'd like you to read it, but then just pass it on to some of those young people, because it's about getting up and doing things, Yeah,
they would love it. Absolutely love it.
Fantastic. Well, we'll do that, Leah. And you're not having one, Beth, don't you worry. No, we've only got 1 copy left, I think. So,
bless you. No, I was just going to ask, what was Leah's project called?
My project is called Mari's Got Talent.
Mari's Got Talent, that was it. Sorry.
Mari's Got Talent.
We are on Facebook or whatever. Shameless plug. Aha.
That's fine. You can plug as much as you like. Did you say you wanted one, Kathleen, as well? You've gone quiet on me, Kathleen. You're on mute, Kathleen, by the look of it.
Yes, I would love a copy. I'd like to share it with some of the artists I know that have run courses I've attended from Create Health.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to have to do. Believe it or not, you all know I'm not really in front of the tape. I'm going to unplug my microphone. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to unplug my headphones. You can talk amongst yourselves because I'm actually going to go into the room next door and see if I've got them. I've got a little box room next door with a few books and things in it. Have a look and see if I've got some in there. You talk amongst yourselves. Hang on.
I'm just going to pop back a minute.
Well, I'm already cooking tea, so I'm dipping in the next when I get tea on. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of looking at the time, thinking, come on. I didn't think it was going on this long.
Yeah, we're going to have to move on. It's 24 to 7, and we still have to do the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm starving.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Nick, can you hear me now?
Right, I've now got to plug myself back in. I click my microphone on there. Hang on, I've got these umbilical cords because I've got my headphones in here. I can't hear a word until I plug myself in on this little plug here, and I have to put that in my back pocket. Right, did you talk, or did you all go quiet while I was out of the room?
No, we discussed what we're going to eat.
Well, just about to wrap this up. Don't worry. So I actually found 2 copies of that.
Sorry, before you move on, Nick, don't forget that we still have the draw.
I haven't forgotten.
Winners.
I haven't forgotten. Don't worry, we're going to do that next. And if anybody wants to go, they can. We're still going to do it, and you can watch the live stream, and we'll email everybody. I've got 2 copies of that. So would you like one of those, Kathleen?
I would like one, if that's okay.
I will send it. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I've actually got 3 copies left. These come. So Seth Godin, right? He's an amazing man. He wrote this book, and he said, if I write this, will anybody buy one? And they're 20 quid each, and if you buy one for 20 quid, you get 2, because the idea is you give one to somebody else. And 40,000 people ordered the book.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow is the correct answer. So that's the kind of pull of this man, Seth Godin. And I wrote a blog about it because my car broke down. I was hoping to go to Cornwall for New Year, my car broke down. So I opened this book and I'd ordered some, I'd forgotten, and I read it and I wrote a blog about it and saying, look, it's your turn, get involved. So I'm going to send you that. I'm also going to up this because I found some other books in the shop as well. That's a book called Rocket Boys. That's a book my dad found in an Oxfam bookshop he volunteers in. About 4 boys in America, didn't want to be coal miners. In 1957, they looked up in the sky, saw the Sputnik, were inspired to make rockets, and ended up working for NASA. And that book changed my life because I go to schools doing this talk all the time. I've got 3 copies of this. Would anybody like one of these in that little pack as well? Best book my dad's read.
Nick, I'll take one.
You're like, you bit my hand off there. You did, Leo, didn't you? You don't mess about. Would you like one of those, Kathleen?
Yes, please.
And have you got time to read books, Beth, or are you too busy juggling health and safety?
I love books. I go to bed at ridiculous o'clock, and then I love reading. I'm reading The Mind Effed. I don't want to swear on your program.
Oh, that's supposed to be really good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I'm reading Yanis Varoufakis.
Oh, the Greek finance guy. Yes, I think we'll have to leave you a lot. We'll leave you a lot chatting. So we're just about to wrap this up. So I'm going to send you through them copies of those books. We'll get that sorted out.
Amazing.
So now.
How do we know where to send them?
Well, because we've got your email, and you'll probably email us and say, Nick promised me a book. Where is it? My post-it notes are full.
I'll make a note of it now. Who's getting the book?
Kathleen, Beth, and Leah.
Thank you.
So
I'll make sure to go to the community library here afterwards as well.
Well, there you go, and spread the word and share it on social and tell us what you think of it. So yeah, in fact, I've actually got a bunch of copies. It's really like does anybody know any school teachers who are interested in teaching creativity? Because I've got half a dozen copies here.
Yes. Or could I please have one for the Home Hub School?
You want one? Teaching creative thinking, yeah? You'd like some copies of that?
Yeah, one for me as well, please, Nick.
Okay, do you know any teachers, Kathleen?
Yeah. I used to work in a school, so I know quite a few, yeah.
And you just missed a great book giveaway, don't worry. We were giving away 3 books, but don't worry, I might be able to find some more.
Thank you.
Your Turn by Seth Godin, Teaching Creative Thinking and Rocket Boys. Would you like me to send you those books, Anne, as well, for all turning up tonight?
Yeah, if you've got one of those, that'd be great.
Okay,
thanks.
all I'm going to say to you is there's no such thing as a free book, okay? If you get books off me, you're committed for life, because, well, not for life, for 18 months, because I think what I'd like to do is for this to become a little group that can maybe come together once a month and sort of develop ideas for Festival 22. Would you be up for that?
Yeah. Well, I'm involved with I'm running some workshops for the Durham University Art School Art Prize this month. So.
For Durham, did you say?
Well, Durham University, they don't teach fine art at Durham, but they have a programme of creativity to encourage their students to be creative. So they run this art prize every year. It's for anyone to enter in the university.
Bang on, you're in Glastonbury, aren't you?
Public events this year. It's Summer in the City in Durham. It's an amazing public art thing. And they're basically running workshops, and they're paying artists to run workshops. So it's a paid commission, which is unusual for an artist. So So they're
do you know about the
on the theme of heroism. So
do you know about the Durham Commission? Have you ever come across that?
No, I've done a couple of art things in Durham, but I don't know.
So it's ironic actually. We're stood in front of Tate Modern here, but Nicholas Sirota, who was the director of Tate Modern, he's now chair of Arts Council England, and the first thing he did when he joined and became the chair of Arts Council England was to commission a thing called the Durham Commission, which was Durham University, a bunch of professors, and they looked into creative education.
Oh yeah.
And what we need to do to put creativity at the heart of education and art at the heart of education. And they reported back a year or so ago, and we did a big thing in Liverpool with one of the professors. But do look that up. So that's a lovely connection. So we're giving you a book in Glastonbury, which, let's face it, is the epicentre of cool anyway when it comes to festival land. And you're going to take it up to Durham, where they did the Durham Commission. That for me is just hashtag How Art Connects, which brings me beautifully on to look at some of the lovely arts, because I know Malumba's very keen to crack on, and I don't blame him. Here are a few of the entries, and what we're going to do is I'm going to run this little animation. We have had 200...
Oh, there's me.
Oh, there we are. Fantastic. And that's one of my favourites. That was a car doing a U-turn in the snow, which made a heart shape. And we are going to do the draw now for 20 I Love Art T-shirts, based on the artwork that people have put in. So I'm going to... There you go. You're still up there in the corner. If anybody wants to speak or comment, you can just chip in and it will go to your picture. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to go over here onto this computer.
You're finding the artwork.
Oh, well, yeah, it's inevitable. We'll have to come back to that. We'll put this on. We'll put all these up in a gallery. Don't worry. It's just a bit of eye candy as much as anything. So get my Gmail up here. Okay, one step at a time. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you all to pick a number at random between 1 and 219, I think it is. And I'm going to look it up on a table, and then I'm going to go and find the piece of art that corresponds to. And then Malumba's going to write it down. It's going to be quite a convoluted affair, because we made the mistake of not getting everybody to enter it on a form. There you go, I'll get rid of myself for a minute.
Am I writing... I'm just writing numbers then, because they're all numbered, aren't they?
Well, you can write down whatever becomes an identifier. Yeah, but we will have a name. Let's have a look. So this is my entries. I've got the entries up here. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to check what the number is. So it's between 1 and... Scroll to the bottom of my spreadsheet. 1 and... 219. Okay, so you've got 1 to 219. You're going to pick a number at random. You're not going to know what that artwork is, because I haven't shown you the spreadsheet. And then we're going to look that up in a folder and see which artwork that is. So I'm going to jump over here for a second, which will probably stop that video running for a second. Yes, it has. That was a lovely piece, actually. That was, I think, Alzheimer's project. Very, very nice. Okay.
There's some really just stunning entries. I mean,
it's superb, isn't it? I'm so glad as well, Malumba, that people didn't all... let me pull you up. Let's get you up on the screen as well, shall we? I'm so glad, actually, that people didn't all use the old template. You know how I tend to try and force that template for some consistency?
Oh no! You should not force. You can't force things like that.
Yeah, but we do when we do it out.
Template.
We do it when we're out for good reason. But okay, guys, we're actually ready to go now. But some people need them like a template. I like a template. So Kathleen, you're on screen. Would you like to pick a number between 1 and 219?
199.
199. That's okay. So I've got to look this up on the spreadsheet. Hang on. On the spreadsheets on this computer, 199. This will get faster as I work it out. We've just invented this like everything else. So that is an Instagram entry. Instagram number 13. So IN013 Malumba is your reference. And here it is. Let's pull that up. It's Kate Tessa 2, this one.
Oh yeah, I quite like.
Hang on, it's not that one. You can't see it.
No, it's not that one at all.
Oh, you're looking it up, are you?
Yeah, I've got it on my laptop.
I've got to put it up here. It's that one.
Wow.
Yes, it's that one. It's beautiful, isn't it?
This is a bit tricky, actually. There we go. I'll get rid of you two. So isn't that beautiful? Look at that.
I remember that.
That was on Instagram, that one, I think. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Very industrial.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to have to do here is, I think I have to do this. I'm going to put all the pictures in a different folder because that's. Go away.
I'm sorry that I have to go.
Don't worry, Kathleen. Well, it was very helpful for you to randomly pick the number. I hope you win.
Well, there's so many good things. I wish everybody luck.
I'm actually feeling very generous tonight, Kathy. I'm actually going to say right here and right now that I'm going to send you a T-shirt anyway for your efforts tonight. So, thank you very much for that. It's the least I could do, isn't it?
Very kind of you. Thank you.
No, so you're going to get 3 books and a T-shirt, and you're going to.
Bye.
Bye, Kathleen. So Leah's going to hang around and do some random numbers for us.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Nick. It's been really interesting.
I'm sorry it dragged out so long, but got a bit carried away with our brainstorm, didn't we? Not to worry.
Technical glitches.
I think it's just me
Thank you,
talking.
Kathleen. Your ideas are brilliant. I'm especially grateful for the church.
You're welcome.
I'm currently Googling. I'm emailing Malumba at the moment with churches in Cornwall that are stunning. So I'm just literally, I'll be sending that email to you soon. But yeah,
brilliant.
Bye then.
Bye. Thanks, Kathleen.
Bye.
We'll be in touch.
Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, folks. So just trying to update this. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's coming in by the look of it. Okay, those pictures are appearing on another computer, so that's going to be a bit more quicker now, and we can So, okay, that's why does that cost us that?
Nick, can I just give you my number just now? Because I'm going to have to dart.
Can you? I'll get it off your email. Don't put it out on public now, Leah.
Or I can pop it in the chat.
Just talking about.
Nice to meet you.
You're random.
Nice to meet you, Anne.
Do you mean the random number, Leah?
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. Give us a random number, then we'll pick that now while you're on the line. Yeah.
18.
18. So let me look that up. Then you can have the experience of this excitement. 18 is a Facebook FB004 Malumba. So I'm going to look that up over FB004. Oh, this is another nice one as well. This is a nice one.
Right, good luck everyone. I really have to go.
Don't you worry. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Lovely to meet you.
Let's pull that up. So that's that's that one. Hang on, no, it's not that one. Hang on, this has all got a bit. I'm doing a slideshow. I've never understood why it's quite so hard. It has to be quite so hard to pull an image up and make it stay up. So that's that one. So that's FB004.
Nice.
And I should be able to put that there like that. So there we go, that's under Beth. So Beth, you're right showing out some random numbers for us.
68.
68 is FB054. So let me get rid of that and find that. FB054. I'll have to get my glasses on for this. Oh, this is a nice one. Yep. Siska Van Beek. That's a lovely one. Look at that.
What is this? Siska Van Beek.
Siska Van Beek.
Is that the name of the artist?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Sorry, say the name again.
I had a mouthful of lager there. Hang on. Siska Van Beek.
Siska Van Beek. That's awesome. Thank you.
Isn't it? That's a lovely one, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you.
So hang on, let me just jiggle that round again. Oh, I see. I might have to do a new preset here. Put you over there, like that, and then this one here is the artwork. Just reprogram my system a minute and pop that up there. There we go, and save that as number 5. Okay, cool. Right.
No, that's number 3.
No. I'm thinking aloud, Malumba. It's button number 5 on my mixer here, don't worry. So, Beth, give us a number. Have we got anybody else in the room? Who else have we got here at the moment? Let's have a look.
How?
Pearl, are you here? You've got a screenshot there. Looks like it's just you at the moment, Beth. So let's crank through. You can do some random numbers. What have you got?
45.
45.
I'm gathering epic churches for you.
Brilliant. 45.
Stunning ones in Cornwall.
So you go, Malumba. FB31. FB31. Let's have a look. Flick through all these lovely entries. FB31. I probably shouldn't show you that because you could be accused of cheating. FB31. Oh, this is a cool one. Yeah, like this one. So that was a chap who did it with lots of little beads. That is Clive Jive.
Brilliant.
Clive Jive. I like that one. That was quite cool, isn't it?
I love it. Clive Jive. Brilliant.
So, what's your next one, Beth?
24.
24 is FB010 Malumba. FB10. And that is, where's that one? Here we go. Oh yeah, I remember all these coming in now. This is a really cool one. This is quite bold. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome as well. Oh bless you, awesome.
I do like
Are these
that
all
one.
ones from your projects as you go round and people?
No,
create-
this is this week. This is the January challenge, and this week, basically the January challenge is a thing run by an organisation called 64 Million Artists. They have funding from a number of organisations, including the Arts Council. And every day in January, they issue a different creative challenge. And on Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I got an email saying, "Hey Nick, are you all set up for tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, what's happening tomorrow?" They said, "Well, basically, Lem Cissé picked your challenge as his challenge of the day." And I'd completely missed it. I'd missed the email back in December. So not to worry, we cracked on. And we had a whole day where basically they've got 6,000, 7,000 people in the group. And they all designed I Love Art logos. So you'll know our little logos that we do, that we've printed up on these big posters like this. Yeah, I think we've had some of those down outside your place, haven't we?
Yeah.
There's a lady there holding an I Love Art logo. It's quite odd doing these things.
Brilliant.
Like that. So yeah, we had 1,000 of those done by JR. So basically it's part of a collaboration with JR, who's $1 million TED Prize winner. So yeah, it's all good. So let's jump back to the spreadsheet. So how many have we done, Malum? About 4 or 5. Let's have one in the 200, in the hundreds, top end. What have we got there, Beth?
We've done 5. We're going to do number 6.
Sorry.
Beth?
Oh, say that again. So sorry.
It's all right. Give me a number.
57.
57. FB043 Malumba. Facebook number 43. it's actually starting to look like we have got a system, isn't it? Which is quite good. FBI, I need my glasses for that screen. FB43. Oh, this is a nice one. Yeah, I think this looks quite digital, this one. That's cool. That's by Terry Hart Ellis, that one.
Brilliant.
Sweet, isn't it? Oh, that is digital, because that's actually on an iPad, look.
Okay, yeah.
You can just make out the iPad frame, can't you?
Brilliant.
That's a cool one. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Why isn't that animating? There we go. Let's just get that together a bit quicker. Okay. Right, next one. What have you got? Next number. Someone in the hundreds, Beth.
Oh, let's go 128.
128. You should do like the bingo calling thing, shouldn't you? So legs 11 or whatever it is. Yeah,
I don't know what the words are.
128. What a state. So
yeah, so I suddenly couldn't remember any bingo calls.
I don't think bingo goes up to 128 anyway, does it? So so this is an Instagram Malumba, IN023. So let me flip down here, IN023, and that is Gian Elise Edelston. That's quite a big mouthful, but you'll find it in the system. So IN023, that's a nice one. I love art.
Ah, well, yes, I do remember that one.
Oh, you peeled all the Instagram ones off, didn't you? That's right. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it looks good. Okie dokie. What else you got? Remember next one? Next one, Beth, sorry.
Oh, let's go 199.
That's a good one, isn't it? Let's have a look. That is TW, so that's a Twitter 019. TW019. And that is, let's have a look here. TW9. Oh yes, this is one of our standard, fairly standard Steamco template ones. Quite simply one there, and that's Joe Hornies. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, oh, she's written all the names. Oh no! This is really sweet. Actually, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it on the screen.
Oh, that's lovely. Has she written names of?
She has. So she's got Lem Cisse in there, Jackie Kay. She's got friends of hers. Got artists, William Morris, Picasso, Van Gogh, Andy Warhol. That's nice, isn't it?
Really simple, but
yeah.
Very lovely.
And I think what's been really lovely actually has been the interpretation of this challenge in many different ways by different people. Not often quite literally, so different mediums, different graphic styles. There's not one vaguely similar to any of the others. Super. Right, what you got there, Beth? Another one?
200 is the top number, wasn't it?
219 is the top number.
200, I think.
That's fine, yeah, 200. The challenge you're going to have is doing one that we've had already, but Malumba will pick you up on that. That's a Twitter 020, Twitter 020. Let's have a look. Twitter 20. Oh, again, it's another one of our literal ones, which is nice to see, but somebody's actually holding it. It's interesting because very few people held their posters up in the way that people did on our little competitions. So this says there's a little girl there from Bradford holding up her I Love Art sign. It's a lovely format, isn't it? I love these big posters. And I think Malumba's point about maybe curating something during the Festival 22 where we actually maybe get everybody to do these and we display them, we cover the country, not in the posters that we've done, but people's interpretations. And
absolutely.
Oh yeah. We've already got quite a few that we're going to keep and use in 2022 or even this year when we do
and that was 22 hours, and that was 24 hours work, wasn't it? we've got 2 years.
It's just stunning, some of the stuff that I've seen.
I look at these things, it's beautiful, isn't it? So you've got another number there, Beth?
212.
212 is Twitter again, TW032. So Twitter 32.
I've sent that email over as well with some Cornish churches that are stunning.
Lovely. Woo-hoo. There we go.
Really amazing. I've put pictures as well so you can see. They won't do it justice, but they're really magical places.
There you go. So that's that competition prize there. To I Heart Art. They've done a nice job of that. That's a nice one. So
it's really good. It's really inclusive, isn't it? Because you don't have to be an artist to be able to do that. at all. You know, I love the fact I've started doodling again. I used to love art, and then I couldn't do it. You know, like when I was looking at courses, my dad and mum both did art, and they were like, go and do academic, you know, you'll struggle to get a job, and do art as a hobby. So I just stopped doing it. And I've done it through being creative, doing festivals, being artistic without picking up the pencil or painting for years. And I've just started sort of doodling and drawing again. In between, we're still working, but we're not at full pelt, like working day and night, not sleep.
Well, maybe you can do the creative challenge every day, Beth. You know, for the last 2 weeks.
The what? Sorry, the cryptic challenge.
Next time we're in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Do the January challenge, the 64 million artists January challenge, which is what the project's all about.
I reckon that's a blimmin' great idea.
And
I've been really like bogged down. I've just started like this like few days, just starting to recover from what we've just done in the last year for lots of people has been very, very hard. You know.
Well, you had no Christmas trade at all, did you? I guess.
We were shut.
Yeah, no.
They closed after the last lockdown for fear, because we knew that you can't have windows and doors open on a beach with wind and gales, and we knew that there were people booking from all over the country, and we were frightened. And obviously after the October half term, it just drops off. You know, tourism is the lifeblood of our community, as you know, and we just were so frightened. And then we were gonna stay open and just do the weekends to keep the guys going in work, and then we saw the cases rocketing, and we actually hadn't booked Christmas because we were so frightened of a second wave. And so yeah, we didn't actually book it. So other people, we felt so sorry for them, because they had to, all the refunds, all that planning, everything.
Very difficult.
But we just thought there's going to be a second wave, and we just didn't sell Christmas, which was such a relief.
Well, but it was, yeah. So give us another number, Beth. Come on, one more number.
202.
202. Another Twitter. TW22. TW22. Let me dig that one up. That is Leslie LPG. Oh no, it's not. TW22 is oh, this is a lovely one. Jack-o'-lantern. Jack's-o'-lantern, this one. So look. There we go.
Wonderful.
That's a sweet one. And that's a sort of a man and a woman, or somebody with pink hair, dark hair, light skin, dark skin. So that's a nice one. Good vibes there. So that's a t-shirt. We're printing that on a t-shirt. I must admit, I should be stopping thinking how we're going to print some of these on t-shirts. I must admit, because some of them, it's going to be fun. It's all good. I think we'll have to we'll get our heads together on that with Malumba. So this is a nice one. Look at this. At the middle of Earth is art. Did you know that, Beth? At the centre of Earth is art. Did you know that one?
Oh no.
Do you know the significance of that? At the centre of Earth is art.
What is that? What's that model?
Think of the word Earth.
Life or something. What is that tree linked with?
I don't know.
Iconic art, and I can't think what it is. My brain doesn't work very well at the moment. I think that's lockdown brain for a lot of people, isn't it?
Go on, pick a number between.
I can't remember the most basic things.
Pick a number between 1 and 100. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
71.
71 is Facebook. Facebook 057, Malumba. Facebook 057. Of course, good job they don't do the national lottery like this, isn't it? Blimey, we'll be there all day. Although they've only got one number to pull. Oh, this is a nice one. Did I say 57? I did, didn't I? Yeah. This is a really,
057.
This is a lovely one. There we go. Look at that. Lots of words.
Yeah, lovely.
Is there anything more beautiful than a character, a letter, a logogram, infinite ways to draw, hundreds of computerized fonts, billions of unique handwritings, the beauty of two letters, logograms coming together, and on it goes. And it ends, mathematics is a human way to write beauty. Maths is art. That is lovely. That is very special. So there's a whole essay there written that starts with beauty and goes through maths and science and dreams to art.
I like that as a t-shirt. I'd really like that as a t-shirt.
That is really cool, isn't it? Really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's fantastic.
You can actually make those into little paper hearts and in trees. You know, like where you have like paper candles and you light a pathway at a festival where all the lights go along. You could have those like hanging on trees with all the messages with lights in. That would be pretty stunning.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? I love those things where words are just presented in a different way. It's really cool. Okay, next one.
You did say poetry for your festival.
Give us one between 100 and 200, Beth.
Oh, 100. Sorry, between 102 and 100. So I got number one.
Anything between 1 and 100. Come on, let's alternate.
5. Number 5.
Oh, she's going low. She's swinging low. Let's have a look. EM. That's somebody who emailed it in. EM005, Melinda. And let me find that up here. That's an interesting one. There we go. I love art.
Brilliant.
And that's come from Lakashi.
A very difficult name, if I remember correctly.
Lakashi. You remember? Gosh.
Yeah.
That's impressive for you to remember that.
Amazing.
Well, there we go.
I'm visual.
Lumber, has that email come in?
He's busy. He's not checking his email. He's busy. He's got to check
No. I just thought I'd ask just in case because it was a massive file of a few pictures I put in, and I thought I don't know if it's actually sent to you.
I've got it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay then. Okay, next number. Let's have a number between 1 and 200 then. 100 and 200.
78.
I'm really doing this to mix you up a little bit. No, okay, I did say between 100 and 200. You said 78, but 78 is fine.
Mix me up on math.
No, don't worry.
Totally number one.
So 78 is FB064. That's a Facebook entry. God, so many come in. It's just been brilliant.
Stunning one.
64.
I love that one that's just come up, the blue and the orange.
They're lovely, aren't they? This is by Gemma Louise Walsh, this one. And this is... she did 2 or 3 actually, but I picked this one. So I like the way the paint is sort of dripping off the letters there. That's quite interesting.
I like that.
So, yep, that's that one. Next number. Anything you like, Beth?
65. I don't think I...
Don't worry, now we'll know if you've done it once already, don't worry. 65 FB, it's a Facebook 51. Let's have a look here. Get rid of that. FB 61 is Emma Ring. Oh, this is a lovely one. I did like this one, I must admit.
Sorry, 51 or 61?
Sorry, 50. Oh, hang on. I did say 51. I pulled up 61, didn't I? That was good call, Melinda. Sorry, thank you. That was a nice one as well. This is a nice one. So this is
one of my favorite ones.
This is 51.
51, perfect.
So
nice.
51. It's very intricate. Lovely, lovely. Okay, how many have we done, Melinda?
We've done 15. We've got 5 to go.
5 to go. Come on then, Beth.
36.
36 is another Facebook one. It's FB022, Melinda. FB022. And that is, let's have a look. I haven't got the details. This is before I start putting names on it. It's one of the lovely ones actually, with the stones and the coloured stones. Look at that, it's lovely.
Brilliant.
That's kind of like beach art, isn't it,
Beach
Beth?
art, yeah, looks like plastic waste that they've upcycled.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
lovely. So that's that one. Another number, let's have a high one. Let's go 200 to 219. Let's get one of those high-end ones.
218.
218 is a Twitter 038, Melinda. Twitter 038. So that is down here. Oh, this is an interesting one, yeah. A little bit of nice one. It's annoying in this program. You can't just max something up to go full screen. It starts running a whole screen show. It's a bit annoying. There we go. Not to worry. Okay. Next number, Beth.
201. I don't think I said that one.
No.
Twitter TW021, Melinda. TW021. And that's Claryland. Bit of a doodle out of her.
Brilliant. Are they little matchsticks and cutlery coming out as her eyelashes? I can't see.
I think it's embroidery actually.
Ah, yeah, like little paintbrushes. Oh, and yes, a little hook for. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
They're kind of like embroidery eyes, you see, and crochet, in fact.
Crochet, that's the one. It's a crochet hook, isn't it?
Sweet, isn't it? Crochet hook. That's right. Lovely.
Brilliant.
Okay, 2 or 3 more, I think. What have you got?
2 more.
2 more.
So go 163.
163 is IN058. Instagram 058. Let's have a look. And that is, oh, this is a nice one, Linda Jones. I remember Linda's earlier. I remember that coming in. Oops. Get that back. Oop. Here we go. That's Linda's.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Let's see if we can zoom in on the.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
So yeah, and is this the last one, Malumba?
1 more, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beth. Anything between 1 and 219 that we haven't done before.
So let's go 206.
206. It's another Twitter, and it's Twitter 026. Twitter 026. Let me find that one. Oh, what a lovely ending for me. Anyway, it's one of my I Love Art logos that's been beautifully executed. There we go. That's the one.
Oh, I was looking at a different one.
No, I hadn't flashed it up there then.
That is great.
I Love Art. Looks like they've almost embroidered it, doesn't it?
I love the font.
And interestingly enough, they haven't used our template. They've made their own and copied it, which is interesting. So,
amazing.
Well, thank you very much, Beth.
Well, thank you. It was lovely last minute surprise. I saw the email, went on Twitter, popped up on Twitter, and I was like, right, what do I do? And then, because I've only done the Zoom with you, and then I think one other time, so I was a bit like, and then went into Twitter and watched the video, and then realised I could come in, so I ran and got fancy dress and thought, right, I'll come and join the party. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful evening.
It's fun, isn't it? Because it's such a simple thing. You know, everybody's a bit zoomed out and twittered out and video called out, and you see it on the news. But I think when you just do something like this, it doesn't matter about the media. You know, we haven't got any bookcases behind us. We're not talking about Brexit. We're not talking about the virus. We're talking about human connection, and we're talking with other people. And a lot of the people tonight never met or spoken before, and we've suddenly got these connections.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's really interesting.
People.
And I think if we can do that, if we can repeat this over the year and bring some people together. What are your thoughts tonight, Malumba?
Well, I mean, this is not at all what I was expecting to talk about, but I really, really liked the brainstorming of the festival. It's got my brain racing. So it's interesting because throughout a lot of lockdown, I've been a bit apprehensive about just hanging out with strangers online on Zoom and all these things. But this has been really, really nice. There's some really insightful conversations. So I've thoroughly enjoyed the past couple of hours.
Yeah, likewise, it's been really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Well, I must admit, I've sort of struggled to get my mojo back for this year and getting up to speed. And I think this project has been wonderful. Seeing those entries come in, and you've got to see some of the entries that people made as well, Beth. I mean, here's some of the comments. I mean, everybody who entered on the online form popped a little message in.
Amazing.
And I'll just read you some here, but I'm just really...
This one that they were saying on your Twitter, because your Twitter and your Zoom was slightly different. So I was watching the two, and then I came on to this one, but it was saying that this project saved their life.
That's right. So there was a lady on yesterday who said that
amazing.
And I wouldn't pretend it was the I Love Art piece, but the January challenge, she said, changed her life. Just that connection with other people and those connections that she made. So some of the comments here, some people said a brilliant way to connect, love it, love what you're doing, really enjoyed this challenge. and learning about the wonderful work you guys are doing, connecting creativity with arts. Such an interesting challenge, helps during lockdown. Really got me thinking how to do something different. It's so inspiring to create new work every day in a supportive community. So people coming together and helping each other and giving each other, those little likes and those ticks on Facebook, It's oxygen to a lot of people, that acknowledgement. And, I say sharing is caring. If you put something on Twitter, if somebody can look at it and think, well, that was nice, how much of a big deal is it to click the like button? And if you really like it, to share it? What's the big deal? I mean, some people ration their likes and shares out as if they're giving money away. It's bizarre.
I came off Facebook after the March lockdown, just because I'm so in the community, and I've had to retreat to to look after the internal community. That obviously when we're open, working, running the business and everything, so it's been really tricky. But Twitter, I was really quite full on Twitter in March, and I started to get more on it. And then I had some problems with getting hacked and trolled about talking about child poverty, so I came off it for quite a while and stopped sharing and liking on Twitter, but still watching and liking occasionally, but then disappear again. But Twitter is great. I really like it, but Facebook I've not got back onto yet. I've not been able to face it yet.
Well, Facebook can quite often feel very, very local, can't it? And if you have a role in the community as you do, and then you have views, and if those don't align with the community, you then get friction. Twitter works much more at a national, global level, but if your views don't gel, then people can pile in on you.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I haven't done an awful lot of Instagram. I've got Instagram accounts and put stuff up, but it works in a very different way. And I think I think the way it works stops that kind of hate sort of piling in and people sharing it.
Images.
It's a bit more anonymous, I find.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So, horses for courses, but Instagram came into its own on this, just flicking through the Isle of Art things. So, no, it's been great. Well, thank you very much.
Because I'm visual, I like Instagram.
Sorry?
Go on, Malumba.
No, I said because I'm visual, Instagram is very visual. It's about photographs. It's just about snippets of images. Twitter, there's a lot of reading. Facebook, there's a lot of Facebook is a bit of a mixture of Twitter and Instagram in a way.
That's so true. Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah. Well, thank you both very much.
Well,
it's been lovely to connect with you.
To see you both, and keep up the good work, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks. Take care.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks for popping in,
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye, my dad.
So that was a lovely little chat. We're going to wrap up now. Here we are. Absolutely wonderful. Looking through the I Love Art design entries for the January challenge with 64 million artists. A task that was chosen by Lem Cisse, who's been very generous to us over the years, and we're very grateful to him for that. And here we are in front of Tate Modern. Absolutely fantastic. One of the most inspiring, grand art galleries in the country, in London, if not the UK, if not the world. And here's an art gallery that we created this summer. Out of cardboard, out of code, out of creativity. A dad in my son's school built this pyramid stage for us, where we ran our own Glastonbury Festival with a young lad from Leeds called Lenny. Thank you very much for tuning in.
I've been playing grade 2 on my piano. Thank you.
It won't be of any surprise to you, I'm sure, to know that I'm not actually in front of Tate Modern. I'm here in a green screen TV studio, literally built with Art Council funding, with funding from Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the Treasury, LGFL, which is a creative education charity, funding from the National Lottery. And we can't thank you enough for that, because I don't know what we'd have done last year, but we've managed to completely remodel the way we work at STEAMCO. Instead of going into schools physically, we've been doing everything online with school communities. And tonight we've been talking about how we took art Art Connects 19, our festival in 2019, how last year it was hashtag Collaborate 20, this year's hashtag Inspire a Nation 21, because next year we want to provide, we want to build, we want to co-create a national festival of creativity to celebrate our art and what it is that makes us human. 2 years ago we went to the school community of Academy St James in Bradford, and we did this with an Arts Council grant with National Lottery funding. And I'm going to leave you with this now, but just thank you for sitting through this live or in the replay. Last night 1,000 people ended up going back and looking at what we did last night. I can't imagine they'll sit through the 2 hours today, but thank you very much, because we are a community, we're connected with our art, because it's what makes us human. Art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. Thank you for sitting in.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are